They're like, good evening, like, welcome.
Well, actually, do you want me to do like a radio voice
I feel
intro?
like we should introduce
Guys,
you.
why don't we just have an intro about trying to make the intro?
I mean, that's not a bad idea.
I already started it, by the way.
Oh,
Well, see,
sneaky devil.
I picked up on that, and I was doing the improv thing, which was yes and I was just going for it.
I'm totally caught off guard.
We should have a theme song. You guys should get someone who's musically talented to do it, so that way we do that.
Alex, we have Alex do it.
Exactly, and then
when he comes back, and
then and he'll have a robot arm, not because he lost the arm,
just because he wanted
one.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, and then so like when we do an intro like that, you just like cut to like dun 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 dun, and then it just cuts to like a rock.
The real big is it Real Big Fish?
Real Big Fish, yeah. Real spelled R-E-E-L. Get it? Like fish.
Like fish reel?
Yeah.
Because they're real big fish.
Mm-hmm.
God, what an awful name for a band.
Well, welcome back, ladies and gents. This is the Half Past Sheev podcast. It's Mike. It's Frank. And we have a wonderful guest on today.
You've heard of him. You heard the legend himself.
The legend himself.
Sakura Sunrise. Or is it Sunset? I thought you said Sunrise.
So Sakura Sunrise is the main one, but see, I did the worst thing you could do, which was have two competing brands. Because I have my blog
you made two competing brands?
Basically.
You're making your own competition.
Exactly.
You can never lose, though.
It's two different personalities.
That's perfect.
Exactly. So, because I had a blog, I have a blog, it's still up and running, called Sakura Sunrise on WordPress. But I wanted to do a radio show that was Japanese rock. And I thought, I can do Sakura Sunrise. Except that implies it's in the morning, and I don't like waking up early. So I decided, what if it was a night show, and it was called Sakura Sunset? And, I actually tried changing my gamer tag on Xbox the other day to Sakura Sunrise.
I thought it was Sakura.
Well, it was Sakura Sunrise 47, but I wanted to get rid of that 47. And they let you change your name for free. However, the new, guidelines, the max character limit is 12 characters.
Oh, my God.
And I was one over. So I decided, I guess it's going to be Sakura Sunset. So I'm Sakura Sunrise on PlayStation Network, but I'm Sakura Sunset on Xbox, which I'm actually totally cool with.
That's actually kind of cool because you play PlayStation in the morning when nobody's actually playing, and then you play Xbox at night when everybody actually plays.
Cheers to that!
Because PlayStation has a bunch of single player things.
Yeah, and then when you wanna talk to people and occasionally deal with weird tech problems, go to Xbox, bitch. I'm kidding. Xbox is great.
Xbox is great, okay? Anyways, his name is Matt, by the way. We didn't say Matt. We just said that.
Hi, my name is Matthew Lundeen.
Shit! He's throwing out last names over here.
I forgot that you guys don't use last names.
No, it's fine.
But I'm going to promote myself later, so I figure
Are you sure you want to be you sure you want to be known for the man who's on this podcast?
Yeah, I love you guys. And you guys also said some really sweet things about me in episode 2.
Be honest, I don't remember that because it was 3 a.m. But that means it was from the heart because I said it. And
both of you were like, "Oh man, we should totally have him on as a guest." So I was like, I was in the middle of my heart.
Did we actually say that?
Yeah,
I remember saying that.
Yeah, because you were like, "Oh, he's the most eloquent person." I'm like,
no, I was basically every time I talk to him, we just literally get swallowed into rabbit hole conversations.
We do,
so,
we pretty much do because we're always talking about comics and stuff,
which is an endless topic.
Yeah. Speaking of which,
oh my God, that transition.
We're talking about DC.
Watchmen. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, HBO.
Hold on. So, basically, we're going to talk about the DC Cinematic Universe.
Oh, yeah.
And
oh yeah.
Basically, The Dark Knight ends, right? And now they come out with The Man of Steel. And we can all agree that was a good movie, right? Man of Steel?
Yeah, I enjoyed more.
That was good.
Man of Steel was pretty
right?
good. The only thing I didn't like about Man of Steel was that at the ending, he wasn't saving people enough. It was a lot of destruction.
He wasn't saving people at all. He was just letting everybody die.
Exactly. It was a lot of destruction porn. And they tried having that romantic kiss in a very 9/11-ish destroyed Metropolis.
Yeah, you're right. Didn't he just kill somebody after that? Before that, too?
He kills Zod.
Well, he kills Zod.
He kills Zod and then goes and has a kiss in the middle of a destroyed city.
Well, I think the kiss was before that, but it was. The thing was, he snaps his neck, and it's a beautifully shot moment, a pretty cool moment in the film. The only problem is that he snaps his neck in the direction of the family that was cowering in the corner from his laser vision. So if you think about it, he's screaming, one, because he killed Zod, but also because if we were to cut back, that family's dead. They're cut in half.
So not only did he kill one person who was the evil guy, he also...
Never mind, that movie is awful.
All they had to do was take every shot from the other perspective and flip it. So that way it was him snapping his neck in the other direction.
That would have been perfect.
So that Michael Sheen was like, if you do this, we'll lose Krypton forever.
Good.
Wait, no, not Michael Sheen. Michael Shannon.
I can say Michael Sheen. I don't even know who Michael Sheen
Michael
is.
Sheen is...
Charlie Sheen's brother?
No.
I'm just kidding. That's Emilio Estevez.
Michael Sheen is... Well, he's in Doolittle. That's the first thing that came to mind. He's in...
Dude, Doolittle? I've never seen it. I'm sorry.
What else is Michael Sheen?
I want to be cool.
What's that? Have you guys seen the trailers for... there's that show on Amazon Prime called Good Omens. It's with David Tennant and Michael Sheen. Well, it's basically like Michael Sheen's an angel, David Tennant's a devil, and they have got this like...
Did you really just
camaraderie.
slurp your drink down?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you gotta not be such a asshole about that. I don't know if that even picked up.
I picked it up.
I tried to be as loud as possible with it.
Basically, Man of Steel starts.
Right. Great movie.
Beautiful, right? We're like,
good, yeah.
this is the start of something wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Like imagination, SpongeBob style.
Yeah.
And then they release Zack Snyder's Batman v Superman.
And it's like, oh,
which, like...
Yeah.
Which
the beginning?
No. Before even the movie's out, you're just like the title. I'm just like, why are they releasing that as the second movie?
Yeah, it was an odd choice.
To be honest,
bold.
It would be interesting if they did it if it had Christian Bale's Batman because you already like know some about it.
Okay, let's think about this. I wanted them because at the end of Dark Knight Rises, Batman's like retired and off on his own thing. You know, at the end,
in like France or
what
some
if
shit?
they start off? Yeah. What if they started off the Justice League where like they need his help and
so
they
go
and get him?
Oh, and then they're like, why don't you go by your real name, Robin? And
I've talked about.
That
I kept bringing it up. That was the worst part of that.
God, it's so terrible.
It's like you could have been like Dick, Tim, and Damien, anyone. They're like
any of them.
Robin, or off topic.
It's gonna be Carnage.
Oh.
He still has not seen that.
He hasn't seen it. We gotta watch it.
I own it.
Oh,
should we watch it tonight while we eat fucking Taco Bell?
Absolutely.
Whoa.
And let's also get if we could get like as much trashy food as possible. And enjoy
I like
this.
it.
Yeah.
Sorry, we're making post podcast. We're in the now, guys.
I want to say something about Batman vs Superman. There are a couple of good things. One,
I'm pretty sure I saw it with you guys too.
I think you did. Yeah, you did.
I like
and you came out. You're like,
I was grounded. I was grounded.
My best
you guys
thing.
are like,
oh yeah.
You guys are like, we're going to see Batman v Superman. I was like, what?
You're like,
I was like, can I come?
I remember, I think I've already said this in a podcast, but not with Matt here. I remember when we got out of Batman v Superman, you and Matt were like talking about how great it was. And you're like, that was better than anything Marvel ever made. And I'm like...
Yeah, you made some bold claims, I'm remembering. Yeah. Well, I want to say something...
But DC is so close to my heart. And I basically was in denial, convincing myself how good that movie was.
Right. Well, something funny. Did any of you guys ever watch the Ultimate Edition?
No.
Well, so the thing about it is that the theatrical version... is actually like the worst version because I think the Ultimate Edition put it back a lot of the things that were originally supposed to be in the film. That when you consider the big picture, it's like, oh yeah, like Zack Snyder's vision, while not like perfect, this was a lot more cohesive than what we got. Like they cut out a scene where, so like Jenna Malone is a great actor. She was in Catching Fire, the second Hunger Games movie. If you remember, she was the girl with the axe.
I didn't watch her.
All right, well, anyway, she's a cool chick. She's also in Sucker Punch, another Zack Snyder film. And she had a role in the extended edition. She had a role in extended edition where she was like a journalist or someone who was like an analyst. And Lois had gone to her with like trying to figure out like more about that. Remember the guy in the wheelchair and the wheelchair exploded and blew up like Congress?
Yeah.
So there's a scene in the extended edition where Jenna Malone calls Lois and it's like analysis came back. The wheelchair was aligned with lead. And then Lois is like, he couldn't see the bomb because Superman's heat can't see through lead. So it's like, why the fuck would you not put that in the goddamn movie? Like, there's a crucial scene that explains.
I'm pretty sure they explain that afterwards. You're like, oh, yeah, the wheelchair was made of lead. And people were like, oh, yeah, the good last minute save.
Exactly.
There.
It's like there's explaining it in a commentary or in a interview, and they're just putting in your movie, which he apparently did.
That's what happened with Star Wars, actually, Rise of Skywalker. They explained how Palpatine came back and everything in the beginning, but people were like, it's going to be too long and too much exposition, so we're going to take that out. I'm like, but we kind of need that exposition.
Yeah, we do. We absolutely
to understand. But anyways, this is Star Wars.
We
This is DC.
we can talk Star Wars next week or in 2 weeks.
With Matt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Maybe.
hopefully, I'd love to. So after Man of Steel, then the next one was Suicide Squad, right?
No. You
No,
meant
I thought it was
after Batman
Batman-
v Superman.
After Batman v
and
Superman.
then we got Suicide Squad.
Wait. I just need to talk about how, personally, the only gripe I have with Batman v Superman, which is kind of my gripe with a lot of DC, is they're going to too many things too fast.
That's another. Yeah.
They just fill their movies with too much shit.
What
and
they
you're like,
needed
bro,
to do,
chill.
and like Man of Steel's good, Aquaman's good, Wonder Woman's good, Shazam is not bad, right?
I haven't seen it.
Okay,
he says he
listen,
didn't like it, but I'm still
really-
It's not bad.
It's
though.
not that bad.
It's like Hulk. Like Hulk isn't good, but it's in the Marvel Cinematic
yeah,
Universe, and
but
it's
like
fine.
to be honest,
It works.
Oh, but
I
it-
like
but-
Shazam more
yeah.
than the Hulk though. So
So that's perfect. It
Yeah,
works.
yeah.
But they needed to lay out the seeds to grow the fucking thing. Like,
Yeah.
Is Hulk like the Wings of like movies, or it's like if it's worse than Wings, it's terrible, and if it's better than Wings, it's like okay.
yeah, basically.
pretty much.
Well, let's be honest, nothing can be as good as the Room though.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
So
Just keep that in mind.
So right after Batman vs Superman, the
We
next
got
one we got
Suicide
was
Squad.
Suicide Squad.
Wait. Let me say my thoughts on Batman v Superman before we move on. I hated it. Okay, go ahead.
So the thing with Suicide Squad is that like I was in denial the first two times that I
Yep.
saw that.
Yeah,
like,
I thought it was good too. I'm
Oh my
on the
God.
same boat. I'm over here like DC's this big cock
the,
style.
the
doing
third
great.
the third time I saw it. Well, also it doesn't help that the trailers, the marketing for Suicide Squad is like the best marketing.
Yeah,
The trailers were incredible.
the Joker looked so cool in that.
He looked well. Okay, he looked. He
No.
looked
in the trailers
he,
because we got to see him driving the car. And
because I
Batman's
was
jumping
open
on
to
him.
a different interpretation. That's
Yeah,
what we
so
got
was
with
I.
Ledger.
So was
So
I.
it's like you have to keep an open mind with with new
Yeah,
Jokers.
for sure.
It's just that they didn't show enough of him for him to make an identity of himself.
Yeah,
in the movie,
for
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Which is like, I guess they supposedly Jared Leto was very upset because they cut out a bunch of stuff from him.
yeah.
Which I can
Fuck him.
understand because
I'm kidding. I just hated his role as a Joker.
the
I'm
thing with
sorry.
Suicide Squad, everybody, you can hate on it as much as you want, but it's the only one that has a more streamlined story. Like there is no
Kinda.
extra
Yeah.
from what I can like. There's no like, oh now there's Doomsday and oh Wonder Woman's here. Oh wait, there's all this shit in this dream here.
Is she with you?
I thought
I
she was
thought
with
she
you.
was with you. It's like, are you
And
kidding
I
me?
was like, I thought she was with you.
Dude, that's another thing with Batman v Superman. You guys are introducing Wonder Woman to the big screens for the first time in like 20, 30, 40 years. How long? I don't
Yeah.
know.
Long
It was like
time.
an old TV show. she
Yeah,
was
yeah,
on.
yeah.
That's it. And you introduce her like that. Wonder Woman is like the most popular female superhero.
But the thing is, I seem to remember that most people were like, yeah, she was like the coolest part of the film.
she's badass. I love
Yeah,
her. and
but
she was,
also
yeah.
we got the Junkie XL composed theme for Wonder Woman, which is like one of the coolest superhero themes.
Oh, is that
heard.
the?
Yeah, it's
I
great.
loved that movie. That was
Yeah.
so good.
Wonder Woman that is like towards the top for me.
Yeah, I like that and Aquaman. I thought those two were like.
But we're getting ahead of ourselves. So we have Suicide Squad.
Okay, listen, I was the same way. I watched it, except for it
We
only took
both
me.
said Suicide Squad or something.
Squad.
Wait. Can I just go off
Go ahead,
topic
go
for a
ahead.
second?
The show is made of tangents. Remember?
I don't know if you caught this, but Michael, I think it was like the first episode. Michael goes, "Yeah, in episode 9, blah blah blah." I'm like, "Don't you mean episode 9?" He's like,
I
"Yeah."
remember your
I'm like,
correction. about
episode
that.
7. I was like, "Fuck."
I remember.
Like
I
he
just
said the
wanted to
right
bring
thing,
it.
and you corrected
He
him.
corrected
and
me
then
wrong
saying,
thing,
yeah,
and
the
he
exact,
said-
and then he made me actually believe I said the wrong thing.
And then you apologized in the next episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watch it.
Oh,
next
there's some
episode.
there's some consistency between episodes.
Exactly.
We make callbacks.
Yeah.
But I was the same way with you. I watched Suicide Squad once, and I was like, "This is actually really good." I'm like, "What?"
It's promising.
If
I
you're just
really
watching
liked
it
it.
just for a watch, it's a pretty decent movie.
Yeah.
Like it's entertaining.
But then when I
There's some
watched it
cool stuff
the
going
second
on.
time in theaters again, because I thought it was that good, apparently, I went to go see it again, and I was like,
Did you pay the whole $12
I
again?
think it was 15 because we went to Hollywood Boulevard.
Oh yeah, we did go to see Paul.
With Cameron. We saw it that second time. I was like, "Wow, this is pretty bad." Literally, the third time, my sister, and my mom wanted to watch it with me. I started watching part of it. I'm like, I literally cannot watch this. I literally was sitting down. I'm like, I have to leave. I'm like, I'm not watching.
Yeah, well,
this
you know,
movie.
so third time for me was when we watched it with my dad, who hadn't seen it yet, and
Mhm.
we were me and my sister were using him as the test audience. 'Cause
Your dad's a big comic fan.
He's
right?
he's the biggest comic book
You've
fan
been
I
in the
know.
basement.
Other than you,
You haven't been in his basements before?
No.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
literally action figures lining the walls.
Beautiful.
There's a bit less now because he
I
sold
have
some to
action
some
figures to
friends,
show you.
but he extended. He has a wall just of the thing.
That's
But he
awesome.
moved that to a different, more prominent wall, so it's
Ooh.
actually a lot nicer. Because the thing is his favorite superhero.
Okay.
Which would be interesting.
Yeah,
It's an interesting choice.
I like
the way
that.
he
That's not a
explained
mainstream hero.
the way
I like
he
that a
explained
lot.
it was great because he explained how his love of the Thing and Batman, two of his favorite superheroes, as thusly. Because like with Batman, he grew up with kind of like it was kind of like an incomplete family. Like his dad wasn't really in the picture. My father's father wasn't really in the picture.
Right.
And then, so he kind of related to, Bruce Wayne, not having a father.
Right.
And then with the Thing, he always really appreciated how the Thing, like, despite the horrible things that happened to him, and like him getting like this, dysmorphed visage, he always had like a really positive sense of humor.
Right.
And so when he told me that, I was like, oh, that's really cool.
I'm over here. I just like fucking.
That's kinda what I like
first.
Yeah.
Just liking them.
That's kind of why I like Deadpool for, because people are like, "Oh, it's just funny Deadpool," but it's like realistically, he's just like he literally just wants to die. Basically, a lot of the time,
Yeah.
he's like, "I just don't even want to live," but
And
I'm
he's got
immortal at this point.
And he's got like a boss ass girlfriend
True.
who like accepts him even though his face.
And
is
he's made
fucked.
of Ryan Reynolds.
And
By
he's
the
made
way,
of
we
Ryan-
are drinking some Ryan Reynolds right now.
Yeah, we're drinking. We're drinking aviation gin.
Gin, come on,
I keep
again,
saying rum.
You can taste the Ryan Reynolds in it. But guys, no more about the Thing, no more Marvel.
Yeah.
Wait.
So, what did you want to say?
Sure, I'll go. Fuck. I was gonna say back to what I was saying earlier is like we have Man of Steel that's laying a seed, right?
Right.
Then we jump to Batman v Superman, which is like a stage 2, stage 3 type movie.
Yeah.
And then Suicide Squad. Like, what fucking order is this? Why would we want Suicide Squad?
Yeah.
Okay, out of all the people going to watch DC movies, I'd probably say 60% are people that are not comic book fan, like involved comic book fans.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, like just normal people going to see like, oh, cool, superhero movie. Who knows what Suicide Squad is?
I didn't even know what it was until you had to explain it.
I know what it is.
I
but-
knew kind of what it was because there was an episode of the Justice League animated series called Task Force X, where they infiltrated like the Watchtower, which was.
See,
like
I've never watched that, so for me, I had no idea what the hell they were.
Right.
You are missing out.
I know.
Batman
It's a great-
the
it's
animated
great.
series is my favorite TV show of all time. The best show.
The-
That's my favorite
you'd
joke.
be a-
See, this is why you need to show it to
It's
me.
my
And
favorite
then I'll show
Joker,
you Dragon
dude.
Ball Z. It's a
You'd be
win-win.
amazed at
Win. Shake it up.
you would be amazed at the type of stuff that they could fit into like a 24-minute time slot.
Yeah.
The type of stories like there. I'm going to show you an episode tonight.
Okay.
That's called the
We have a lot
Doomsday.
of stuff to do today.
I know, but it's
We
called
have
the
to watch
Doom-
Venom. We
gotta watch Venom. We gotta watch
Cookie?
this.
The Scooty Cookie.
Yeah,
$1.99, you son of a bitch. Take that back, you pervert.
because there's an episode called the Doomsday Sanction, which is
Yes.
brilliant. Oh, you know
Yes.
exactly the one.
Yes.
The one where he's in the volcano.
Yes. Yes. Fuck yes.
I love that one. It's so tense. All right, so we were on Suicide Squad, right?
Yeah.
And here's the most
But,
insulting.
okay, wait. Sorry. Before I let you continue,
Okay.
I'm going to go with Frank and say, see, in Marvel, I feel like they were trying to pull a Marvel.
The order?
Kind of, but like they were trying to pull a Marvel.
They're
like,
trying to compete with it.
Right, they're
And
like-
Marvel
they're
is
like,
already
oh, we
on
see-
phase 3.
right. They're like, oh, we see you have Guardians of the Galaxy out. We're gonna make Suicide
We're
Squad.
going to do an edgy new thing and make it mainstream now. It's like, no. But they did get a really good Harley Quinn out.
Oh, for sure. That's
Absolutely.
like one bit. I will say.
And a pretty good Deadshot.
I was gonna
Yes,
say, Deadshot was
yes,
good.
I loved him too, but
They're changing him, aren't they, for the new reboot?
I don't think that's Deadshot though, because it's Idris Elba, but I don't know if he's playing Deadshot.
I heard he was playing Deadshot,
They
but
have to.
If he is, I mean, it's a pretty good. I mean,
yeah, it's good, but
pretty
like,
good, but it's no Will
the
Smith.
thing I said to him earlier was basically Suicide Squad, everything else, like we said, Harley Quinn and Deadshot were cool, right?
mhm,
Those are Batman villains, bro. Just
Yeah.
put them in a Batman movie or something.
Yeah.
that's true.
You
They
can make
could've-
so
they could-
many Batman. You can make a fucking Nightwing
They
movie
could have
or something. I don't
introduced
know,
them.
dude.
They could have introduced them, or at least like shown them a little bit in a Batman movie,
Yeah.
and then did Suicide Squad and be like, "Oh, I remember seeing that character." Now it all
Dude,
connects.
you can make a 3-hour Batman movie with like a ton of villains. They don't
Yeah.
all have to be like the main villain, but they
Right.
can be like in a bar or
If they
something.
adapted like Batman Hush, you already have like how many villains
Dude.
in that story?
The Joker's in it. Fucking
Penguin,
what?
my boy Penguin, Danny DeVito.
Yeah, I think
I think he's in it. Yeah,
I haven't read it in so long. Like
They made
don't know.
a film recently, an animated film.
They did. I haven't been catching up on the animated films. They're
well because
next level.
They've all
right
been
now.
in like a
The
connected.
Killing Joke one is.
Oh, you liked it?
I liked it.
Okay.
Did you
You fell
not like
asleep
it?
during it.
Well, no,
What are you
I
talking about?
rewatched it.
Oh,
It's
okay.
just that I heard terrible things about it because I
Oh,
heard
no,
that
it was
they.
good. I mean,
Oh,
I
okay.
haven't, to
It
be
was
fair, I
basically
haven't,
the book.
I haven't really read the book.
I just
so
heard that
can't
they
say.
like had like an original story on the first end of it that was and
Yeah.
and the whole
yeah.
Batman Batgirl dynamic.
Yeah,
I don't really
okay.
like
So
that.
yeah,
So
I
that's my
I could
reason.
see that they were like doing their thing together.
Yeah, they were
that
doing the
added.
nasty.
I could see
Yeah,
that.
they were.
I like it so much because I'm geeking out so much that
That
my
they
favorite
finally
story
adapted it.
is like on TV.
For me though, and this is the last thing I'll say about the Killing Joke is just that I kind of wish that the animated film had maybe changed the art style a bit because it was pretty faithful, but the line work itself, it wasn't quite as striking as Alan Moore's art.
We have the book right here on the
Yeah.
setup. He's very defining. Look with all the the lines above the
Yeah.
eyebrows and the cheeks,
And I
and
feel
they
like
don't have that, and that's what misses it. It's like the shape of the characters, but then not the I don't know how to explain this.
they go for very they still go for
like,
very
look at this right here.
Yeah, that's really
Like, yeah, it's
really
like really
freaky.
unique.
I feel like they go for really cartoony art style, the type of art styles that would appeal to all audiences, but they use those art styles still with films that appeal to more mature audiences. And I feel like that kind of hurts their potential in creating striking artwork. That's why I like stuff like Batman Gotham Knight, which is like an anthology of animated shorts that
That's a
was
good
like
one,
made
yeah.
by like Japanese, Chinese, Korean.
Isn't that
animation
Deadshot
studios.
as the villain?
Yeah, Deadshot
Yeah.
was the villain in one of them, and that was a incredibly
I
animated
agree.
one.
How I would watch all those like old ones when I was younger is I would just like wait and get them on the Netflix disc.
Yeah.
They would mail it in. It'd be like the best hour of my life just watching the good old
And
animated shows.
the thing is now
like Batman Year One and
that's
stuff.
great. I think that's one of the best ones.
Yeah.
And very faithful, and the art style again conveys everything perfectly. For me, the newest DC films, they all are in like a connected continuity.
Yep.
And I think that can hurt it because you have voice talent. Like the guy who does the voice of Batman nowadays, I'm not a huge fan of him. Jason
I don't know
O'Mara
too
is
much.
Like they did a whole like Suicide Squad Arkham.
Yeah.
Did you see that one?
But that one had the voice. That one had Kevin Conroy.
Yeah.
That was its own continuity,
Mhm.
and they made like a second
Okay.
one more recently. But they keep doing like ever since Batman, ever since Son of Batman, like ever since that.
Yes, I
film,
haven't seen that, but
ever since Son of Batman
yeah.
and like Justice
Damian?
League War, like they've had this connected universe. So
I've
like
seen Justice League War. That's the one
Yeah.
with the Earth 3 villains,
Mhm.
right?
And so what they're doing is because Justice League War was, I think, an adaptation of the very first New 52 Justice League. I
Oh,
believe.
okay. I'm mixing these up. Okay, with Darkseid.
Yeah. Because
Okay,
I
yeah.
remember reading that in middle school. That was good times.
I love the New 52. But
But
that's a whole other tangent.
yeah, but like the whole thing is that now they're adapting stories from even before the New 52, but they're
They're
adapting
doing like a
it-
New 52 art style with a
yeah.
little bit of
Well,
the
they're
older
adapting
story.
stuff like Hush or like Superman Doomsday, but they're putting it through the lens of this new like animated canon that they've created.
Where are they like putting? This is all just on their streaming.
It's streaming,
The
but they've
DC
also
stream?
released it on DVD and Blu-ray and stuff
Okay,
like
so
that.
they
And
don't put it like
every-
on a channel or
exactly.
Something,
And
like
every
TV.
once in a while you'll have a standalone one, like there's like Wonder Woman Bloodlines, or there's like Gotham by Gaslight or Batman Ninja, which really goes off the rails.
Yeah, that really. Okay, I didn't hate it as much as the other people who watched it with us. hated it.
Colin would talk during the entire goddamn movie. So
But it was interesting
It
to
was
say
interesting.
the least, and I think I enjoyed it overall. But it was very different.
it was really ridiculous, and also
Yes.
because it you go into a Batman story expecting a certain amount of groundedness, but when you have a story written by the guy who's written Gurren Lagann and like Kill la Kill and all this crazy shit to come out of
very
Japan,
over the top animes, by the way, Frank.
you basically have that the story is going to go over the top and play more on emotional appeal and like the emotional impact of a scene rather than the logic of a scene.
right.
And for someone like Colin, who is always like, "Oh, why is he doing ninjutsu or whatever?" Like it's just going to be
Ninjutsu's from Ninjago.
Oh, is it?
Or it's
or
Spinjutsu.
or jutsu or like he's doing Naruto shit and
That is
Batman
ninjutsu as well, though.
Yeah, so it was. Oh wow.
Oh yeah, he does the jujitsu.
I do.
I took a jujitsu in elementary school.
Really?
Yeah,
They
for
had
a
it at
time.
school.
No.
I'm
It was
during
a
that
club
time.
I took alongside my
I see.
time in elementary school. We were on Suicide Squad. We should probably move on.
Yeah.
So Suicide
See, I
Squad.
tell you, this is just a tangent show, bro.
Exactly. So me and my sister showed my dad Suicide Squad.
Oh
the
my
extended
god!
edition.
Fuck, that feels like an ages
Yeah,
ago.
it
when
was
you brought
ages
that up.
ago. And yeah, so we showed it to him and he hated it. Even the extended edition, which by the way, as far as extended editions go, oh god, it was terrible. It was like it really didn't add anything of worth except for a couple of new scenes with like Harley Quinn and the Joker.
Right.
And even then, like you could tell that they didn't include everything that they cut out. So Suicide Squad was just a mess. I would say though, if you chopped off the first like 20 minutes and just showed me that as like a short film on YouTube,
That'd be cool.
It would have been cool because it's like, oh yeah, this is the formation Suicide
Yeah,
Squad.
they're teaming
I hope
up.
they make a movie that doesn't suck.
And you see,
What was the next movie though?
The next movie
Was
I
that
think
Wonder
was
Woman?
Wonder Woman. I
They went
believe.
from something that low to that great.
Yeah, exactly, because they went to Wonder Woman, and Wonder Woman was great, and we can talk more about that. And then after Wonder Woman, that's when they went to Justice League.
I would go and say Wonder Woman's a 9 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, I'd probably say that.
I'd put Wonder Woman really high up, even
Okay.
amongst MCU films.
I have to say, for sure.
Yes, for sure.
I actually really like Aquaman,
Same.
and I don't know if I like it more than Wonder Woman or like the same as Wonder. I don't think it's below for me. It definitely had its issues, but for some reason,
Yeah.
I just
I mean,
really
Aquaman
enjoyed
does
it.
have like a shitty script, but it
but it was
fun
delivered
movie.
pretty well.
But it's
a
also
fun movie.
it's also a fun movie.
Yeah.
It's so colorful and it's so bright, and I don't know.
I love. Remind me of the actor's
Jason
name.
Momoa.
I love him.
Jason Momoa was great.
He's so good.
I was gonna say awful.
Okay,
Awesome.
I will
excuse me.
say this as a last thing before we cut out for the ad, our little ad break. You already know how it is.
You better be going back to Wonder Woman.
We will, but
I'm sorry, I'm the one who skipped that, and I'm
the
scolding
cast
you.
they have for the cinematic universe besides Affleck is like perfect.
I think
Yeah.
Batfleck wasn't
Like the
that bad.
Superman is but he's not like the.
Nah,
like
he's
if
not.
I were to pick someone, like I would
Listen,
pick
for an
Henry Cavill.
old disgruntled Batman,
He was
I
really
think he
good.
plays pretty well.
Yeah.
But
He's also
I
super
would pick him to
imposing
go.
when he like
Which was
chokes that
really-
guy.
It was a really cool concept how they were like, we're jumping ahead. Batman's already gone through 3 Robins. He's already done all this stuff.
Yeah.
Like that would have been cool, and
That
we could have
would've
seen Nightwing. We could have
I
seen.
wonder if that's what they're doing with the Robert Pattinson. If they're going to go back and show all that now, like if it's still technically considered part of it.
Maybe they might honestly with the way they're going, they might just be like, fuck it. They might just like
Just
the
make
next
some fucking
next time
movies.
Justice
yeah.
next time Justice League comes out, they might just like have Robert Pattinson just be there. Who
Yeah,
knows?
that'd be pretty cool.
And if it's just a standalone
If he's good.
universe for this version of Batman, then
Yeah,
so be it.
we just need good movies at this point.
That's
Yeah.
true. That's true.
We're gonna cut out real quick for our beautiful ad.
Oh yeah,
Join us.
we should have
real
made an
quick.
ad with Matt on it this time.
Well, when we make another ad, Matt could be on it.
Okay. We'll see you guys in a sec. Hey guys, it's your boys Mike and Frank here from the Half Past Sheev podcast. Just wanting to tell you guys about a nice little app called Anchor. Frank.
All right, guys. So have you ever wanted to make your own podcast but thought to yourself, oh, that's too hard, too difficult. Like, how am I going to get on platforms I only can put on YouTube? No one's going to watch it. Well, Anchor. Anchor is your solution. Anchor has an easy recording process, easy editing. You can upload your own picture, change your name. You can change it whenever you want, add a bio. Extremely user-friendly. And the best part of it is it uploads it to every platform possible. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and literally like 10 different random podcast apps. And that's what you want. You want to be on every platform that you can get to get your podcasts out. It's what we use, and it's literally the sole reason we have a podcast. We owe so much to Anchor, and it's fantastic.
Yep. And if you guys want to go ahead and make a podcast as well, go and download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
You can do it.
Thanks, guys.
And we're back. All right, guys, we're going to do a little thing that we didn't do in the beginning that we like to do kind of with each episode. We like to talk about our week.
We were too excited. Because we're like, fuck, we got Matt?
I was
This shit's gonna be-
flabbergasted.
Flabbergasted. Indubitably.
But how was your week, Mike? How are you feeling?
Don't worry about it. Matt?
Oh, wow, that's really cooperative.
That's
good improv.
You remember last week when I said I don't remember if I did anything important? Same thing this week. I don't think I did anything important.
Is Brandon working?
Yeah,
Wait,
Brandon, that
why
worked.
did you call me today? I get a FaceTime from Mike,
Oh.
and I'm just like,
So, okay. So,
and I open it, he's like geek squad. He's like holding the phone like this, so I see his like under chin. He's like,
and my hands to my
he's
ear.
like talking the phone. It's like, hi.
All right, so I had this client come in, and they're like, my AirPods aren't working. They just cut out randomly. I'm like, oh, okay. So I take them and I put them in my ear. Like, I don't put them in my ear, so that's why I was going like this and holding them next to my ear. And I was like, they said only during phone calls though. So I'm like, music is fine. They're like, music's completely fine. I'm like, well, that doesn't sound right. So I played music, completely fine. So I FaceTimed Bella. She was at work, so her phone was probably ringing. I'm like,
Right.
sorry.
Mm-hmm.
So then I FaceTime Frank, and he just answers, and he's like, and his
I was just
he
like
was studying. I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Yeah, I was studying.
And you had headphones on, you're
'Cause-
staring, and I was like, say something, please, because I just need to test it.
I was like looking at him like, what do you want?
So he says something like, this is completely fine. Turns out, I think it was just a dude who's having issues, because after I was doing a test like thing, because I was like, oh, I paired up my phone, let me repair on your phone. Repaired it. They called test, and then I listened, like, oh, it sounds fine. I was like, do you want to listen just to like make sure it sounds fine? And the girl, she's like, these are my AirPods. She's like, it sounds fine to me. You're the one who's always having the issues. I was like, damn.
Oh, damn.
Shit.
She's calling out.
Fuck.
She's calling people out.
We're gonna find
Damn.
out that he's like secretly, like he's slowly becoming deaf.
Oh, that'd be awful.
He's so
Don't
terrible.
say that.
Stop. Don't wish ill against the Cubs fan.
I'm not-
a Cubs fan.
Oh, he's a Cubs fan.
yeah.
Oh, right on! Woo! On the W.
Exactly.
Hey. Go to the
that's-
Japanese market at all?
Actually, I did. I grabbed 3 cases of Ramune. I had a
And
grape.
apparently, you drank all of them.
Literally, those
Dude,
are
they have a box in the room
No,
with
we don't.
all of them. Not anymore.
we had 3 left, and I brought down
God.
2 of those.
No, you have a box full of the victims that you guzzled down.
Oh, yeah, we have a giant box. We had 18, and now we only have 1 left, and it's only been a few days. We also had this really delicious Japanese coffee.
Wow.
Mm.
I'm jealous because you guys go there all the time, and I want to go there
I got
more.
Bella to love it now, so
Yeah.
now she's like, "Are we gonna go to the Japanese market?" I'm like, "Yes, we are."
Because I got her-
I need to go.
I got her addicted to these amazing chocolates called
Dude, she
Anfotto.
buys like 20 of them.
Is that the
now.
graham cracker
It's the
chocolate?
graham
Yes!
cracker. It's graham cracker.
Oh my
chocolates.
god, those are so
I
good.
had those when I was in Japan. There's this there's a thing that you
He
do.
went to Japan.
I went to Japan over the summer for study abroad.
Lucky
It was
bastard.
amazing. It was a
Lucky bitch.
beautiful experience. Everybody should study abroad if they have the opportunity. And during the spring,
I don't have the opportunity.
when the cherry blossoms are blooming, it's
That's
kind of,
literally like it's on my fucking bucket.
and you know what
to
it was.
see the cherry blossom bloom.
Bucket list.
And
Bucket
you know
list.
what was really great is that apparently they lasted for unusually long at this
Fuck
time
you,
of year.
bastard.
This year, so it was great. So people do a thing called a hanami, which is kind of like Japanese for like a flower viewing. So
Mhm.
they'll like get a picnic blanket out. They'll bring food, they'll bring booze, and they'll just
So
drink
they
and
brought
eat.
the delicious chocolate graham cracker.
Yes, and we like went and bought alcohol from like Welsh,
Dude,
which is
you're getting crunk eating some fucking graham cracker.
yeah. We had
chocolates.
Japanese pizza.
Oh.
We ordered
What
pizza
is
from
Japanese pizza?
It's
like
pizza.
normal
It's pizza, but they like go
But they make
hard.
it in Japan.
But they like Japanese pizza places.
Big
They
break.
have
Yeah.
they have like really creative toppings and stuff like that. Like
Okay.
they
Octopus
well,
and like pufferfish.
they treat pizza as like a delicacy because
Oh.
it's not as like
Prominent.
Common.
it's not as prominent or common. But like you can get it and it's going to be expensive. That's why me and my friends for movie nights we'd always like do these. We'd get like a 2-for-1 deal at like Domino's. But Domino's we would get a special like meat lovers type pizza called Giga Meat.
Listen, so you're telling me you were in Japan
Eating
and
Domino's.
you ate Domino's.
Yes, because
Pizza in Japan.
because Japanese Domino's is like almost an aesthetic in and of itself.
Oh.
But also they had, and we never got it because it was way too expensive.
Mm.
But there was like a surf and turf pizza. It was steak and shrimp, sirloin steak and shrimp on a pizza.
Whoa.
That sounds delicious.
I think I have a
actually.
picture of it. I can show it to
Not
you.
the
I can show it to you.
Notebook.
Oh no, not the notebook though. So I don't know how we got to this. Oh yeah, we were talking. So I had
I went to Mitsuwa for my week.
yes,
Yeah.
and I had those graham cracker
Delicious.
chocolates
And my
for the first
sister's
time.
hooked on them.
For the first time when I was in
You
Japan.
were like a dealer. You were her dealer, and
Well,
you got her
the
addicted.
very first thing I
Great.
was wondering
Look
when I
what you
got
did.
back was I wonder if they still have it. I wonder if they have that at this market. And they did.
You have to
and
know
it's
it's
amazing.
good when you come back from a certain country and you're like, I wonder if I can find this here.
Listen, when I first got there, I was really sad because I missed all you guys. I missed all my friends and
Delighted.
family and
You're
stuff.
fucking happy you were in Japan, you bitch.
I was eventually, but first I had to like get to know the people around me and all that stuff.
Right.
So I made a list of like all the places I wanted to eat at, like when I got back to America, and I went through that list pretty quickly.
Did you ever eat at Tony's?
Yeah,
We did.
Yeah.
Did
Yeah, we did.
go? Or was it?
I went there not too long ago. It was with Alex when he was still here, and then it was with Colin and Josh, and I think Meth as well. Meth,
good old Meth. You never met me.
Our friend who's also named Matt, but for some reason he picked Meth as a nickname, which is
no. It was Alex named him Mathematics for some reason.
Mathematics?
Yeah,
that's even more stupid.
Because it was Matt, and then it was Matt spelled with a TH, so he called him Math. And then he decided to call him Meth, and then it was Mathematics because like mathematics.
I just called him Math. That would have been so much cooler.
Yeah.
Oh God. All right. Anyway.
Anyways.
So yeah, but now every time I think about like food that I'm craving, half the time it's Japanese food from across the sea, and I'm like, oh my God, I just wish that I had like a place within walking distance of me that had ramen, but also a big bowl of rice and some good chicken karaage.
Mitsuwa has good chicken karaage, I think.
Well, then the next time we go to Mitsuwa, I need to go there at a good time of day where we can at least guarantee to get a seat. I need a bowl of ramen, I need a bowl of rice, and some chicken karaage, and then I can finally say and a crepe because for some reason Mitsuwa closes at 8 and stops serving, according to you,
at 6:30.
Stop serving crepes at 6:30. The audacity of them.
6:30?
6:30.
That's like Kashani's clone. You know what Kashani's is?
I do not.
It's a pizza place right by Target and
it's not Chicago's best. It's quite delicious.
Yeah, it's a pretty good place. They close at fucking like 8, right? Like 8 o'clock.
Yeah. See, it's worse for this crepe place because a Japanese crepe is like ice cream and like a dessert. Who wants a dessert at 6:30? You eat dinner first and then you go to get your dessert.
People.
Yeah, you're right.
So
yeah.
They eat their dinner at like 2.
Right.
So to conclude my whole thing on Japan, if you ever go to Japan, the best thing about Japan, honestly, aside from the people who are very nice, the food is to die for. It's amazing, and you will be craving it once you leave.
I want to travel to.
Same.
Yeah.
But anyways,
and Italy.
Back to my week.
Yeah.
I went to Mitsuwa twice this week. And still could not get a crepe because we kept going too late.
But at least you know the time.
Me and Bella have gone there 4 times. I'm pretty sure. Each time we were too late to get a crepe.
Fuck.
We have yet. Okay, I've had a crepe like 5 times. She has never had one. She's missing out.
We need to go there for lunch.
I haven't had a crepe either.
You best. Oh, they're so. Good.
I've never been to this Japanese market.
It's so good. Okay.
Matt, how was your week?
My week was. How was your week? We should do ours first and then save the best for last here.
I like this.
Oh, yeah. He wasn't prepared. That's why he was like, you go.
I work Monday through Friday, so I work at this. Matt doesn't.
I wish I worked Monday through Friday, and I work on Saturday and Sunday. It's so awful.
Fuck you. I explained this in the first episode, but I work at this company that installs like portable air conditioning and heating.
HVAC.
Yeah. So I drive a box truck, so it's like a big, not like a huge semi, but it's like bigger than a.
You ever seen the back of trucks and you saw, wow, this is gonna be a big truck, and then you go and you're like, wow, that was smaller than I thought. That's a box truck.
Yeah. So I drive that, and that's why I listen to so many podcasts and stuff because I just listen to that while driving. I did that throughout the week.
Very nice.
When I'm not driving, I'm usually in the warehouse cleaning, which is not the best time because you're just cleaning. But I also
is it time for the story?
What story?
The story where you guys were not doing what you were supposed to, then you made it look dirty. So
Motherfucker, shut up!
That
never happened. That did not happen. He tried to bring this up in the other episode. I'm like, we're not going to talk about that, so I don't get fired. That did not happen. I don't know.
Oh, you're trying to spread like misinformation.
I want him to lose his job.
No,
you want him to lose his job.
Do this podcast.
So he's gonna
fuck, dude. We're trying to get through our week.
Okay,
so get back to the fucking movies. Fuck. I worked, and right now I'm taking a course to be a personal trainer. So,
which is what he was doing while I FaceTimed him.
Yeah, it's like an online course, and I have a book, so I study every day, and it's pretty cool. I like working out and stuff, and so I come home and I do that, and I actually just returned to training jiu-jitsu. I do that a lot too because I fucked my shoulder, so I returned to doing that.
And he went to the Asian shaman who helped him out.
Yeah, nice Asian man, really good guy. He did some therapy on my
shoulder. There's no liquid in this mug. I'm just holding it to feel fancy.
It's for aesthetic.
Yeah, exactly. Much like Japanese dominoes.
Studied, returned to jiu-jitsu, that's pretty much it. I mean, Friday, I'm like, Thursday night, I just got back from jiu-jitsu. I'm in bed. I'm like, we're about to kill this podcast this week. It's about to be the best podcast. I wake up Friday morning. I'm like fucking ill to the max. So sick. I barely got through work. I get home. I slept like the entire day. I slept until 11 today, which is
That's
rare for
you,
me
yeah.
because I wake up at like 8 because I usually wake up at like 6 for work every day. And I just did all these fucking random ass remedies, and I feel pretty good. If I sound nasally, that's because I'm sick.
He did everything he could to get. He ate some spicy ass ramen before this to clear himself.
That was delicious. Thank you for the recommendation.
You're
Really
welcome.
good,
Was both of us technically, but you can give Matt the credit. That's fine.
Fuck you,
Matt.
How was your week?
My week's good. It's been busy. My weeks have been pretty.
Do a little introduction. They don't know you.
Oh yeah. Well, so
we don't. Who are you?
Who the fuck is this man?
So he just broke in and came up with a second mic and started talking.
Is he with you?
I thought he was with you.
Oh, I love the references to. Well, actually, we did talk about the film.
Yeah, I was gonna say we talked about it.
All right.
It's another thing.
But this is another thing.
All right, go.
I just want to say quickly.
We're probably 30 minutes in.
Every single time that Michael does impression of Lois Lane from BBS, he always has this really high pitched, squeaky voice that sounds like Minnie Mouse, and I'm like, what the hell are you trying to do? Anyway, so my name is Matt. Me and Michael go way back. We did a show on FM 88.1 WLTL LaGrange, where everything else is just radio.
And that plug-in.
Yeah.
We're not sponsored by them.
We're not sponsored at all.
You just gave them free advertising. How dare you?
It's my school pride, bitch. And and so we did a show called Weeknight Bite. Bite spelled B-Y-T-E because we're clever.
And hey, who came up with that name?
You did.
I came up with that name.
Wait,
who came up for the name?
You came
of the
up with this name
podcast
too.
I am the name man.
You are.
Weeknight Sheev.
Oh,
and
awful.
Yeah.
Prior to working with this man, I had no idea what the hell I wanted to do after high school. But with the help of some friends, with a little help from my friends, like as the Beatles say,
a little dash of hope.
We did this show, the Weeknight Bite, where we talked about movies and games and TV shows and all that stuff. And it got me thinking, like, well, hang on, I've been looking up to people who do this type of thing for a living my whole life. I should do this. I should do something with like radio or online production and stuff like that. So those 2 years of doing it was like real cool. And we eventually recorded and even uploaded episodes to YouTube. It's a quality slurpage going on there.
I was trying to be funny and I choked myself.
And then you choked
Go back to
yourself.
episode 1.
It's karma, bitch.
What is it called on YouTube? Plug it.
Weeknight Bite.
That's the channel.
That's the channel.
Weeknight Bite.
We don't upload
Subscribe.
anything because it's all from when we were like high school.
We did one reunion episode last year.
we?
Yeah, we did. It
Was I on it?
Yeah, you and Colin. You were talking
last year?
We were talking about Boruto.
I thought it was 2 years ago.
Okay, maybe it was
awful.
Well, now you both agree on that. But at the time, Colin was like, "Oh, Boruto's the best.
It's better than Naruto.
It's better than Naruto." And so yeah, it was a whole thing. And so these guys all went off to do careers that weren't related to radio. And
I mean, IT is kind of. I could fix the computer.
And you are doing a podcast now, which is pretty much what we were doing on WLTL.
Listen. If IT doesn't work, podcasting. Let's be honest. If podcasting doesn't work, IT. Mm-hmm. That's right.
we are about to break. I think we broke 200 views already.
We expected like 3. High fives all around.
Nice.
Sorry, slap back.
Wow, these are just a lot of awkward
It's gonna
things.
sound really awkward over
It
the
just
mics.
sounds like it's skin rubbing against each other because we're not really slapping.
We're all naked, by the way. I don't know if you know that. That was our requirement. I was like, guys, I don't know. Like, I get
uncomfortable.
Why is the towels down and like and
Oh God.
You're not setting foot in this basement until you're butt ass naked and
the
podcast properly.
Exactly.
We're not sitting.
Which why we have you guys.
We're actually not sitting on chairs. They're actually like poles. All right, so so then I went to North Central. So I went to North Central College after that, and I'm still there. I'm in my senior year,
Awesome.
and I'm also doing radio there. I have a major. I'm a double major: broadcast communication as well as Japanese. Japanese, just because I was already planning on doing 3 years of Japanese and studying abroad because I was like, oh, that could be fun. And after that, you only need like 2 more classes to qualify for a major. So I was like, well, I mean, it's not going to factor into my career at all, but I'll do it for fun.
Have it. Yeah,
I'll have it, and it'll be another thing to put on
you
my
could
resume.
be a Japanese radio host.
So I'm actually thinking, because I have a show that is like related to Japanese rock now, and I'm thinking that at some point I'd like to write out like an intro where I'm going to speak only in Japanese, and I'm not going to tell anyone. I'm not going to brief anyone on it at all. It's just going to be a surprise. And I might tell the Japanese department only because we have a lot of Japanese exchange students who come to North Central.
Oh, okay.
I think it'd be nice if I did that just to kind of like
to
connect a bit with them.
Do you speak Japanese pretty well?
So I would say yes, except it's been a while since I've spoken Japanese. You know, after
right now.
Oh, God. こんにちは。こんばんは。私はランディングマッシュです。これは Half Past Sheev というポッドキャストです。
Oh shit!
Holy shit! The thing is, blew my mind. I understood a little bit. Konbanwa means good evening, basically. Yeah. You basically said I'm Matthew Lundeen, right?
Yes.
And then you basically said I'm currently on the Half Past Sheev podcast.
Yeah, I always said this is.
This is.
Yeah. Well, I probably should have said これは.
Hey, it was a rough translation. I didn't say it was.
Yeah. これはwell, it wasn't even that great Japanese. これはHalf Past Sheev というポッドキャストです。
What is toyu?
Toyu is like if you're saying a title. So if I was saying like Infinity War Toyu 映画.
So that's how they know that it's like a title.
Hi.
That's your week.
So no, I haven't really gone to the
introducing.
I haven't even gone to like to the week yet. But yeah, sure. So now I'm doing radio. I was doing that. I've done it since I got to North Central. I remember first day of North Central, I went to the radio station. I was like, how do I join? And I was like, oh, we're having a meeting like today. We had, like the first day, there's like a meeting, and that's when like you sign up and everything, and there's like a point system, and like so like seniors tend to get like first pick at like their new radio shifts. You could do news, you could do traffic, you could do all kinds of cool stuff. So first 2 years, I was kind of just, you know, going through the motions, getting practice and all that stuff. But the third year is when I met Joe Viso.
Oh, yes.
And
I've heard this name.
Yes, and also Chris Duffy, and then later
tragedy of Jody Show,
and then later the very lovely Alex Perez, and then the four of us, you know, created Variety Viso, which was a radio show which is very much along the lines of like the Weeknight Bite. You know, lots of discussion of TV and movies and stuff like that.
Culture stuff.
Yeah, when we mostly did movie reviews. We actually didn't cover games and the other stuff too often.
You didn't cover the best part, obviously.
Exactly. Yeah. So we but we, you know, we were getting started, and we mostly started as just like a podcast. So we'd record in another studio, and then we went live in the second, like once like start of 2019, I'd say was when we like went live, and it was so great and so fun. But then I left for Japan, so I actually missed the very end of the show.
How dare you?
And then Joe graduated.
Oof.
But then Chris Duffy, my man.
My
man.
My man.
Yeah. We're going to talk about Justice League later.
That was also from Rick and Morty. My man.
That was a Justice League? What the fuck is that from?
Aquaman. Remember when he was like, my man?
Oh, he does. I totally was only thinking of my man, the mailman from.
So
all that matters is we were screaming together and camaraderie.
Exactly. Indeed. So I met up with Chris Duffy before senior year started, and we were like, so what are we going to do for the show? And he said, well, if you don't mind, I'm going to host it. I was like, oh, please do, because I was already super nervous about taking on that responsibility again.
You're like, by all means, please take
and
this.
So and he had a way better title because he came up with the idea for the name to be Duff Stuff because the name's Chris Duffy. I was like,
I like it.
Oh, this is perfect. This is absolutely perfect. So and I
sued by the Simpsons.
That was actually a concern of mine because I was making the logo because I was
it was a legitimate concern. Thanks for reminding me.
Because I was designing the logo recently for like the Twitter page because we're on Twitter at Duff Stuff WONC, and that's where we'll post like information about newer episodes. But Duff Stuff kind of was like we tried to expand upon the formula. So like the first hour would be our reviews of whatever movies, games, or TV shows we were watching. And then the second hour would be focused on like news and like entertainment news and all that stuff. So the last 2 years have been really, really great. And so my weeks have actually been pretty busy lately, which is why I really cherish these weekends where I get to do random bullshit podcasts and
whoa,
bullshit in a good way.
Whoa!
In a good way.
Guys, this is Matt's last episode.
All right, guys.
I love bullshit. I love
If
bullshit.
Matt disappears off his radio shows, it won't be.
Yeah, let me just mute his mic really quick. And I was kidding.
We did get a second mic.
Yeah.
Oh yes, we did. Oh yes, we did.
That's all. That's about it.
Well, here's the thing.
about
It's like roulette because we don't know which one of these mics
I
is
have no
currently
idea. Okay,
broadcasting.
listen, I fucked up. Okay, I thought I was recording off both. I was like, why we sound so shitty? It's because I was an idiot.
Yeah.
So
We're just gonna get 3, and then we're gonna get a consistent 3
Oh yeah,
guy.
you guys will hear the beautiful crispness of all the S's.
Son of a bitch! I'm sorry.
Nice.
Oh, that's right. You made fun of me last time for that happening.
Yeah.
Asshole.
But so like weeks have been a little busy because in addition to Duff Stuff and in addition to being a co-host on that, I'm also the host of my very own program. It's the first time I've hosted something just myself since the Weeknight Bite. I'm doing a show called Sakura Sunset, which is a 2-hour.
I love that name.
I really
Yeah.
like that name.
It's a 2-hour block of just Japanese rock, and we even do like, well, I say we. I'm used to saying we because I'm usually in a show with other people.
but now it's just a solo show.
It's a solo show, which I'm not used to doing at all because
What's your family name? I don't have one. You're alone? Solo.
I saw you look serious, and I was like, "Are they about to have a moment?" And they're like, "No, it's just a."
Dude,
This is
that
stupid.
was
Star Wars.
Okay, well,
Okay,
That's such a
Star Wars
stu-
episode
Yeah.
later on.
But yeah, it's a 2-hour.
Did you see his mug, by the way? It's your destiny.
That's awesome.
Got that for graduation from this man.
Oh wow!
Yeah, right? I wanted to
Awesome.
cry when I got that. I was like,
Aw.
did we just become
That was
best
like
friends?
a $6 mug
Fuck off.
of Amazon.
Oh
Well, no,
man.
I need to buy 7 more.
Wait, you show him the other side.
I did.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, okay.
Property of the Empire, do not remove.
All right, fuck Matt.
But yeah, so Sakura Sunset, I do 2 hours of Japanese rock. I do take requests, but it's usually like if you request a song, I'll be like, cool. I'll make sure to add that to our library for next episode because I'm pretty much adding as I go.
Right.
Because I'm going from not having any Japanese rock on this station to having like a ton of it. I have a little over 100 songs now that I've added,
Oh, shit.
and that's over like the 5 episodes.
Is
I've
that
done.
everybody like requesting?
Well, like the first episode, it was so many positive responses. Like there was somebody who had emailed the WONC, like which by the way, but the radio station for North Central is FM 89.1 WONC, Naperville, Chicago, and one guy had emailed the radio station's like feedback line, and was like, "Oh my god, like this one Japanese like." Artists, like I love their work, and I was so happy to hear it when I was driving back from school, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is so nice!" It is the first time I'd like had like that positive of a reception because like we were always told on the Weeknight Bite that there were people in like the production like
Yeah, they were like,
in the
"Oh,
management who were like,
You're doing great. Oh, you're doing great. We love you.
We love your show." But,
Everybody
like,
loves it. I'm like, who? I
But
haven't
we-
heard anything.
sadly, we never really got to know our fans if we had any.
That's
and-
the same with us. We get Instagram messages and people are like, we love it.
I know. That's what I love
It's the
about
greatest.
So that's the thing, because it really brightens your day to hear that.
Yes.
And so like there was somebody who said
agree.
like someone said I was like the best DJ they heard this term, and I was like, oh, it's so not deserved, but thank you.
My heart
Dude,
feels
I'm
warm.
completely the same. People message me and be like, this is my favorite podcast. I'm like, are you kidding me? I mean, thank you,
Hey,
but
but-
what?
Hey, we're humble here.
Because personally, I think my the host of Duff Stuff, Chris Duffy, I think he's an absolutely incredible talent, and I think he's actually far more deserving of that accolade. It's been a pleasure working with him. But yeah, the Sakura Sunset, my show, that's been kind of like a labor of love. I had the idea during a production class, and I decided that I just, fuck it, I'll go for it. I'll do this for my last ever term at North Central College. And so
Before
I'm
you
just
become
kind
a
of,
millionaire radio show host,
Yeah.
and you're going to pay for us to keep continuing this podcast.
sure. And but like I feel blessed, and by the way, I should also hype it up. The next episode of my show on the 27th of February, and I'll be plugging more information about my show later, but I'm going to be doing an artist spotlight on Yoko Kanno, who is the composer who has worked on the soundtracks to Cowboy Bebop, Wolf's Rain, Darker Than Black, like so many like really like popular and
You don't know these, but I know
incredible like animated series. Like she is a master, and so I will be showcasing soundtracks that she's worked on, which includes works by bands like the Seatbelts, artists like Maya Mane, Steve Conti, and Tsuneo Imahori. So like tons of great rock music that I will condense into that first hour of the show, and then business as usual for the second hour. But I can talk about my other shows. Like as for this week, it's been a lot of that. It's been prepping for the show, doing my classes. I'm in like a social and political philosophy class with a professor who I specifically chose this class because she was the professor, because she's one of those professors who's like, oh, she just makes every class a joy to go to. Shaheen Musa, professor at North Central College. Awesome. If you ever go to North Central College, shout out. If you ever go to North Central College, she's great.
Very nice.
And then I've got a math class that's like actually going to be useful towards like things after.
Math
like,
is useful.
like we're learning about like
what
we're learning
breaking
about
news here at first in the Half Past Sheev
right.
podcast.
It's like we're learning about like payday loans, and we're learning about credit card
things
payments.
I should have learned in high school.
Yeah, all the stuff that they should have told us.
Yeah, okay.
All that stuff that they should have told us. So yeah, it's crazy. So yeah, busy weeks, and then I get to chill out on the weekends and do this stuff.
Very nice. Yeah, I mean, I think that's all of our weeks.
You want to dive back into the DC cinematic universe?
Oh, I want to dive in.
Okay, where were we?
That was Wonder Woman, which I wish we were on Aquaman, because it would have perfectly transitioned from Michael saying, "Oh, I'm ready to dive in."
Knee slapper!
Yeah, it would have been perfect.
Again,
but,
last episode he's on.
Yeah, but no, Wonder Woman is actually like where it was my favorite. Like it's like towards the top for me in terms of the DC like EU. I don't know why it's EU and not like cinematic universe.
It's an expanded universe.
It is big universe
because they have the TV shows, the normal universe, because they put the Flash.
Oh yeah, did you hear about that?
I saw that. I saw the clip at least. I didn't watch the whole special because it was cringy as fuck. But like,
yeah, you're right.
What do you think about those TV shows?
Well, so I watched Arrow for ages. I watched Arrow up until like season 3, and then at season 3, I was like, Oliver, why are you still keeping secrets? And then so I was like, fuck season 3.
Yeah.
But then I skipped season 4, got back in with season 5. They went back to their roots.
The League of Shadows.
That was season 3 was like the League of Shadows. But season 5 is when they kind of started going back to their roots. He started building a team. And then it's been kind of hit or miss from there. Flash has been fucking what the fuck? I don't even know.
You know Cisco, the character in Flash?
Yeah.
He's like a fucking hero now.
Well, yeah,
he has powers.
Well, yeah, he's got wraparound shades. He's literally the epitome of every like hacker stereotype, and I love it. I actually love that.
Oh my
where's my
God.
keyboard where I need it? I just want to be like, I'm in.
Yeah. So anyway, I feel like we could do an entire episode on DC TV, but like staying with the movies, Wonder Woman, like when I first saw it, I was like, this is really good. The second time I saw it though was on like when we got it on like Blu-ray, and I actually like I cry every time I watch that scene with No Man's Land where she like gets out of the trenches and starts crossing No Man's Land. Like it's such an emotional scene, and I don't know. I get like I've become more of a feminist as time has gone on. So like I watch those scenes and I'm just like, it's just like it's great. And some people say it kind of like loses steam in the third act, but that's only. I feel like
Steppenwolf was kind of like. Wait, was it Steppenwolf?
No, it was Ares.
Oh, Ares. Oh, well, I feel like Steppenwolf was kind of.
Steppenwolf was definitely meh because he was like. Well, like
no, we're jumping. But
I still think that Wonder Woman was especially.
Ares is a badass villain, though. In the comic books, he's a badass villain.
I think that Wonder Woman was just so.
And he was played by the guy who played that one werewolf professor in Harry Potter.
It was a cool.
Yeah, it was actually.
It was.
Right?
Holy shit, he's got one hell of a mustache.
But, it was cool how they made it like he's making the war and whatever.
Yeah, and like it didn't betray the reveal that they had just had, because you had this emotional moment where she's like realizing like, so what? Like I can't just stop all this from happening by killing this one guy, which I think is. It felt like a superhero film that like had something more to say than beyond just like a character-driven story. It was like you can't just kill one person
And then
and
have
save the
everything-
world.
right.
Like people make
kind of what
mistakes.
happened in Captain America 2, kind of, where
Yeah,
like,
to a
cut one
extent.
head off and more grow or something.
Exactly. And
Mhm.
so, and some people see Ares' reveal after that scene as kind of like a betrayal of the themes. But if you think about it, he even says, like, he didn't have to do shit.
Right.
It was basically, if anything, he was throwing salt on the wound, and then she has to then come to realize, through Steve's like sacrifice that there is good in people.
Right.
Besides that, so I thought like kind of dodgy CGI aside, I thought it was an incredible film from
I
beginning
thought
to end.
CGI was pretty good.
It
It
was
was
just that-
definitely the best movie they put out at the time.
At the time, yeah.
Yes.
And
Oh,
it's
Wait,
sure.
there's no other movie that's better than it.
right.
Basically.
Well,
it's the best movie they put out.
yeah. Well, so the
Kinda
thing,
like Aquaman.
Aquaman is pretty cool, but
It's not
but again,
better
like
than Wonder
it has a
Woman.
really bad script. That's the thing.
Yeah,
The
I
script really
guess that's
kills
true.
it.
I will give you that.
I remember there were two scenes in particular in the theaters where like you were like, Matthew, when it happens, you're gonna know that it's like the bad one I'm talking about. It was when the one guy on the news.
No.
It's when the guy in the news was like, "I'm telling you, it's the Atlanteans."
And then the other one was
was when he was like, "You're
With the
telling me
kid.
my mom didn't love
Yeah.
me."
He's trying to tell me my mom didn't love me, but he was like trying to be like sad.
And then Willem
upset,
Dafoe was
and
like,
then
"Your mother loved you more than any
Yeah, the Green Goblin dude.
Yeah.
yeah, Willem Dafoe.
Peter."
I'm somewhat of a scientist myself.
But there were some times in Wonder Woman where like the CGI, like when it was like a wide shot, she kind of felt like, oh man, there's like barely any weight to her.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
But still, far better than any of the other like DC films that had come before it. Like I'd
is
still
really hot too. So
absolutely.
Gal
she's great
Gadot.
for it, Yeah.
She was in
She's
some of
great
the
for it.
Fast and Furious movies before that. I think that's actually
She
like
was.
yeah, she was
Oh,
in
you're
like
right. Yeah,
she was in like 4 through 6. Yeah, she was in
I
a
forget
in a
how
couple.
many Fast and Furious there are.
Yeah, and then more on the way.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was just really a really special film
Right.
in a lot of ways.
And what came after? Was it Aquaman right after that?
No, after that it was Justice League.
Oh, God.
So here's the thing: everybody was like,
Oh, wow, wait.
Bro, back to the timeline. Let me just put this into perspective.
Uh,
We got Man of Steel, then we jump to Batman v Superman, which had so much shit going on. Then we go to the shit show in Suicide Squad.
mind you, we had Man of Steel. Oh my God, Superman's pretty cool. I wish to know more about him. Batman v Superman, he dies.
Yes.
Continue.
Yes, he fucking died at the end of it. And then we get to Suicide Squad, the shit show, and then we're on a high of Wonder
Wait.
Woman, and we're like,
Mhm.
Justice League can be fucking good.
You know what the
And
biggest,
then he fucking comes back to life the next movie.
you know what the biggest issue is?
His
that
death meant nothing.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing is that they made it out in Suicide Squad like Superman's dead. His death is gonna be awful. He's such a prominent figure, but it's like they didn't really show that too much.
well, also
throughout any of the
because
movies
so much of the film was about them hating him that there wasn't enough time for
to
them
actually
to show them starting to love him again. That's the kind of thing, or it could be interpreted as kind of like if they didn't know what they had until it was gone type deal.
Well, even that in Batman vs Superman, I feel like they kind of showed like they just mostly showed like, oh my God, is he a god? Like, what's going on? And they kind of showed a little bit of love, but like not enough to be like, now your god is dead. Suicide Squad.
So-
like,
I would say the most important thing about Justice League in this little mini retrospective, well, not really mini, but this retrospective we're doing,
Like 3 hours.
yeah, this 3-hour
Yeah.
retrospective, is that the biggest thing for me is that I still would rather go back and watch BVS as opposed to Justice League, because with
oh for sure.
with BVS it was a flawed movie, but there are points in it where I'm like,
porn.
there's
in it.
there's
Oh.
point well there's some parts of it are like visual pornography in terms of just like how gorgeous some of the imagery is,
Right.
because Zack Snyder-
you can't help but cream.
Zack Snyder created some of the most amazing imagery I've seen in a like DC film. Like we've seen Batman's parents die a million times, but that scene at the beginning of BVS was actually probably the most beautifully shot. If you could equate, darkly beautiful in a way,
Right.
but there's some really iconic imagery in those films.
Right.
And I'd rather a film that's flawed but has some interesting things to say that you can kind of dissect it a bit more than a film like Justice League, which would have been kind of like that. Except, unfortunately, Zack Snyder had that family tragedy, and then he left the project. And
That wasn't.
It was
I thought
Justice
you
League.
said Suicide Squad for a second.
and then
Joss Whedon.
Joss Whedon came in, and then they changed composers. Instead of Junkie XL, it was now it was now the guy who did the theme to the original Tim Burton Batman films. What's the guy's name?
Oh my god!
Idea.
Oh my god!
I don't know.
Oh
my god!
Well, the minute the name comes up, we'll be like, oh yeah, Google it. But
Google, get it, Mike.
But so like it was a film. Somebody had
that whole theme is in the Lego Batman video game.
Somebody had put it brilliantly that it's a film that looks like a Zack Snyder film. Danny Elfman. Yep. It looks like a Zack Snyder film, but it sounds and plays out like a Joss Whedon film, and that doesn't work. It just there were tons of parts of the film cut out, entire plot lines just cut out, just dusted with. And I thought that the way they did Batman was really lame. They kind of turned him from the cool guy he was
like the fucking bitch. They made him like the bitch.
For me, I think that was the worst version of Batman I've seen.
Here, this is basically what Justice League was. Have you seen the new season of Rick and Morty?
I have not seen all of it. No.
Did you see the one where he's like assembling the team for the heist?
The heist?
No, I did not see that one.
Basically, he's like, it's like a, I'm not going to spoil it, but he's basically like, I'm assembling a team. And then he goes up and like grabs all these people and then to do like a heist. If you watch it, that's basically what Justice League is.
Right.
Batman's like, I'm assembling a team. Flash is like, I'm in.
You
and
son of a bitch, like, I'm in.
Yeah, they go like, you son of a bitch, I'm in. Dude, that's literally what Justice League is.
Yeah, it's just...
And then Superman beats the fuck out of all of them. And then
you're
rip
like,
the shit out of Batman and he looks like a bitch.
I mean,
and then there's that whole scene about that family in the house. And then the beginning, there was like a 30-minute thing about oranges falling on the ground. Like, what the fuck is happening?
Dude, like, the thing is... Oh God! They set the finale in Russia because it's like everybody else or every other.
It's basically very Age of Ultron like.
Yeah, but even Age of Ultron did it better because they spent a ton of time establishing how many people are there. They showed them evacuating everybody. All that's such meticulous detail because Joss Whedon is a genius. He knows how to make a good film. But this wasn't his film. He was coming in to try and pick up the scraps. Right. So I bet you that whole Russian family was like added in at the last minute by Whedon probably because that whole thing made no sense because it's like we see like other people in the background, but we only follow this family. So it's like it's only them.
Isn't that the only thing like Flash did too?
Was save them, and then Superman like lifts up an apartment complex that presumably had people in it.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Which it's like. And the whole upper lip thing with the CGI upper lip
because
of the mustache that he had for.
Hold on, what?
So did you not notice Henry Cavill's terrible CGI upper lip?
Yeah, he had an upper lip was CGI because he had a mustache for like a lumberjack film or
something. No,
it
was for Mission Impossible Fallout.
Oh, I thought
he had a mustache for Mission Impossible Fallout.
Are you fucking kidding me? And he chose that over Superman?
Yeah, because
he jeopardized that.
No, here's the thing. They'd already finished shooting.
Listen. After Batman v Superman, I would also...
No. It wasn't that. They already finished shooting Justice League. It was done. And then he went off, he grew a mustache, he went and did Mission Impossible Fallout, which was the best film of 2018 and much better than Justice League and than what Justice League ever was going to be. Sorry, I'm a really big Mission Impossible fan. And then... And then they were like, "Oh, we're doing reshoots," and so Superman. So he had to come back, but they wouldn't let him shave the mustache.
It was
a contract thing.
Mission Impossible because he was already with that.
Which I kind of feel like that was their way of screwing it over. God. Which I'm like, I don't care because Mission Impossible was way better. But it was like. It really fucked it up because he just had this terrible CGI upper lip that like wouldn't move.
Dude, and they set it up good. Like, if you're telling me, and I say this is me, like,
did they?
6th grade. No. Okay, I didn't mean, like, they set up the, like, characters and the villain.
But at least they had a solo film for Superman.
Yeah, they needed all that setup, but I mean, like, they have...
And then brought him back and made everything in the beginning half of the movie mean nothing because they could have just brought back Superman, he would have did it all.
True. But a Justice League movie with Steppenwolf as a villain. And, like, Steppenwolf is basically... I read a comic book. It's called Earth 2 in New 52. It's basically about an alternate Earth, which is Earth 2 with the heroes. Like Green Lanterns is Alan Scott. You know who that is? That's like the Golden Age Green Lantern. That's him. There's like some changes.
Was that the one whose weakness was wood?
Probably. But Steppenwolf was like the main villain of that comic, so it's kind of cool for me to see that. but they completely fucking
He just had
shit the bed.
He just had such a boring visual design to him.
He's such a cool character. They
He is such a
fucking
cool character.
raped him.
Yeah, he was pretty bad. I forgot he was even.
But it's
I
so
forgot
stupid.
he was that character for.
Bro, it's so stupid though because like you have no fucking idea who Steppenwolf is.
And I feel like he's
the
nothing.
right hand man of Darkseid, which is so cool because you're like, Darkseid's coming. That's fucking cool. It's cool to see Darkseid.
Yeah.
But it's like
Same. They never really explained. anything with the
Steppenwolf
mother
could have been
box,
in
right?
like
The
maybe
mother
like
boxes.
a Superman sequel or something.
Right.
Like we didn't need him to be the main villain of the first. That's the first Justice League live action movie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That is awful.
and possibly the only one, depending.
That's embarrassing.
Well,
No,
also-
it will
well, also
never be
think-
for a while.
Well, also think about this. They ended it with that teaser of like, okay, we got
the
Lex,
mother box, right?
No, it was
Oh.
Lex Luthor broken out of prison.
Deathstroke.
Deathstroke shows up. Lex Luthor's got that nice suit. He's on that boat. He's got all those women with guns like as his guards. And I'm like, oh, nice. They can make up for killing off his like right hand woman from BVS.
Right.
Because like I remember her from the animated series. She was a badass chick, and so I was like, oh man, she looks cool. I can't wait to see her in more films in the future.
Yes,
And they just
I know.
blew her
the,
up in
the blonde,
Congress.
The blonde girl.
No,
with,
the
like,
Asian chick.
Oh fuck! Who am I
The Asian
thinking?
chick from BVS, who was like, I forget the character's name.
No,
like,
but in the animated series, she was blonde, right?
yeah, she was blonde in the
With the
animated
like the black like
series. And
costume.
with,
Yeah,
with the
I know
black, she was
exactly
like the
what you're talking about.
driver, and she
Yes,
was awesome.
Yeah, the limousine driver.
Absolutely badass.
Yeah,
So after Justice League, we got
get
Aquaman,
Aquaman,
right? Yeah, it was Aquaman.
But the whales.
So
it's a fun movie.
so
cool
fun.
visuals.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful film.
I'd give it an 8. I'd give it an 8.
I'd probably give it more like a 6 or a 7 just because of the script quality. But
You know,
I do think that
the script. I will say the script was pretty bad, but I think they delivered it. Okay, most of the actors delivered it well enough to
Yeah.
push it past. that
Amber Heard
second
can go
frame.
fuck herself, but you know,
I thought that Black
Yeah.
Manta was pretty cool.
Black Manta was
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Ocean Master.
Ocean Master, oh my boy. Who was the actor who played Ocean Master?
I don't know. He plays all of the like scary movie like priest
he's
guys
in
and Conjuring.
he's in
and
the
stuff.
he's in the Annabelle franchise. He's like a part of
Yeah.
the character, but like
What's his name?
Patrick Wilson.
Is that it?
No, that's
I mean,
that's
Did
Owen
you
Wilson's
just pull
brother.
that out of your ass, or?
Or is it Luke Wilson? No.
Hold on, wait. We're gonna find this out. We're gonna find
All
this
right, well, you guys.
Ocean
continue.
Master
I will
and actor.
entertain them.
out.
No,
Frank, do
I
it,
can,
do it.
I got this. So, so he was great. It's like when actors like they knew what the material they were given with. It wasn't that great, but they worked with it, and especially Ocean Master, he committed to it,
Ocean Master.
and it was great. And the costume design is the coolest. That Aquaman costume is fucking lit.
Yep.
And so is like the colors are so
I
vibrant.
liked the end battle a lot.
What's
The end-
Patrick Wilson?
Patrick Wilson.
Wow!
Fucking
Holy
nailed-
fuck!
I was see, I was worried because I was like, is that Owen Wilson's brother? And I was thinking of Luke Wilson. Because who's Owen Wilson's brother?
You're right.
Patrick Wilson is great, very handsome man, and yeah, I love that final fight because they had the kind of like overwhelming like everything fighting each other under the sea fight.
Under the sea.
Under the sea. But then they were like, all right, we're gonna have this fight in an area that has gravity, and we'll have them have a fight, and it was actually pretty cool.
Mhm.
I liked the
I
ending.
agree.
So I've only
liked
seen it
it.
once. If I
Oh, yeah, for
rewatched it, I'd be
I
worried
saw it
how I
once
feel.
too, and I
but-
liked it.
I saw it multiple times. I thought it was good every time.
Yeah,
personally.
and you saw it with me in theaters when your
I'm
second
pretty sure
time.
I've seen it
I
3
saw
times
it
in
with
theaters.
you too in theater.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I watched it
On
the
New
first
Year's Eve.
time with somebody else.
We had-
or no, maybe did we watch it the first time?
Mhm.
Okay, maybe that
Yeah.
was.
We had such a fun time in
That was a
that
great
theater.
time.
That was a great time. I really enjoyed that. So that's a good example of like, this is where we get into, I'd say, the good age of
The
DC
golden
films.
age.
Because for me, this is the moment where
Well,
they.
The good. What happened, woman?
Oh well, but Wonder Woman
I'm
was
kidding,
like
I know.
the Wonder Woman was like the
What is
diamond.
next?
The
Wonder
diamond
Woman- oh,
in
we
the-
get
in the
Shazam.
dirt.
We get Shazam. So Wonder Woman was like the diamond in the rough in an
Yeah.
era where it was kind of like, eh. So like, but that was like the sign, like they were already going to make Justice League no matter what.
Right.
But then afterward, they were like, all right, well, we had Wonder Woman. That worked. So now what they've been doing recently, and this is what kind of leads into the Shazams and the Birds of Prey.
I'd like to point out that every one of their live action, or not live action, solo movies have at
Great.
least been decent. if
Have been
not
acceptable.
great or better.
Yeah.
to a
Yeah.
expanded universe.
I will say Shazam is the weaker one, but I think it's still.
I
pretty
personally
good.
haven't seen it, so I can't really talk on it.
There's just some things that I'm like, what? But I mean, for me, not being a Shazam fan, maybe that's just something.
And
that,
Shazam is such a cool character that I also don't like the actor.
Right.
I don't know who that
Oh, you
is.
don't
He
like,
I feel like he looks
oh,
too
from Chuck?
goofy. I don't know. I feel like he looks too goofy.
He's actually in this Marvel universe. He was one of the Thor's like friends that
he was, and then he got recast in the
and then he died, and then that character died anyway.
Yeah, well, because he actually left the because he thought they were going to do more with that character, and he was disappointed when they didn't. Right. And so I'm actually kind of glad that he went on to do other things. But so the thing is, you're right. With solo films, they did a lot better because they were finally like actually having time to build characters.
Right.
But it's also, and it's hard to deny that it's also that they stopped trying to be like Marvel too much. They stopped trying to be like Marvel, and mainly they were letting directors do what they want and make movies where they didn't have to really worry about interconnecting it with everything else.
And the thing is, I think they could have still did if they were going to start their own universe with anything connected, I would have wanted them to be more like Marvel.
Okay.
And like do solo movies first and then do it overarching. It's like, it's a recycled overarching plan, but I think it works pretty well.
You know, and if they'd done it as good as Marvel, probably that would have been good. It's just that I think that I'm glad that they had this rough period because now we're getting more films like Wonder Woman or Aquaman that are kind of like, you know, whether
what films have been like those films?
Just Wonder Woman and Aquaman.
I mean, like the newer ones.
New.
Oh, well, so there's Shazam, which I can't really comment on because I haven't seen.
Michael didn't think it's up to the caliber.
Michael didn't really like it.
I'd give it maybe a 6.
Okay,
probably a 6.
But is it acceptable if it was like a brick to the foundation?
I'd say it's acceptable. Yeah,
okay.
I'd say it's acceptable.
If I see it before, like the next time I'm on, I'll definitely have to give my thoughts on it. I just need to.
We might as well watch that too.
Yeah,
we can talk about Venom. Should we make next time Marvel? And we talk about.
We could. We could do a lot of things.
Talked about Marvel.
Yeah,
we have the Infinity Gauntlet.
Well, and
I feel like that's gonna be like a 4-hour podcast.
Hey.
That sounds like someone ripped ass.
That's gonna sound so terrible over the mic.
We also need to talk about Star Wars with him too.
Yeah.
Fuck.
But
this has already been like an hour and a half, right?
We got a lot. We got a lot.
So Shazam, I can't really comment on that. But now we get to Birds of Prey, and so when
wait, we skipped the Joker.
Joker. Sorry,
the Joker was the next one.
I can't.
How dare you?
I'm sorry. I was excited. It's just because I was excited.
Now that I think about it, actually, I think I like Joker as my number one standalone.
Joker is again another great example of a standalone. It doesn't worry about connecting with anything else, and again, low budget. A director being
Todd Phillips is so fucking good.
Todd Phillips being let.
He did The Hangover. You know that?
Yeah. What?
Oh God.
Have you seen the Sesame Street SNL skit?
Grouch?
Yes,
I have.
No, great. Everybody watch that.
Okay,
that's
continue. Sorry, I had to plug
but that for me, I'm more interested in that film because of the discussion that happened surrounding the film.
Yeah, it's not like a supervillain movie. It's more of like a mental disorder.
Yeah, it has a
psychopath.
Yeah, and it really.
He's not the Joker to Batman. He's more of the like. He's like a new thing.
Right.
I remember reviewing it. I don't know if I actually have my score in this notebook.
He's got a notebook full of reviewing notes.
We reviewed it, and we're not the best at
reviewing now.
But.
Oh yeah, I gave it a B+ on the show.
So that's like a 80%,
or no, 89% technically.
I don't really attribute percentages to it.
I know
a
B+ would be kind of like 89%.
Our scores are by numbers.
Yeah, well,
B+ like 85, whatever.
Like Variety VSO and Duff Stuff, they've ingrained the letter grading scale into my brain, so I just kind of default to those now. But
for ours, it'd be an 8.5.
We could just do the fucking letters. I don't know.
But yeah, Joker I thought it was really good. It's the type of film where like I've seen it once, and like if I see it again, it would mostly be just for the sake of like curiosity with critical analysis. But like. It shows that now with superhero films, like having it be a character related to superhero like fiction is, I think, a way of bridging the gap between kind of more casual viewers and like different forms of art, which typically might not be considered mainstream.
Right.
So I feel like there were a lot more people willing to go see this because it was something related to a superhero thing, and then they're like, "Oh, this is like a really kind of like
and it's the
drama."
Joker,
and it's the Joker.
The Joker is.
It was uncomfortable in the best kind of way.
It was uncomfortable. It's the type of film that like I don't usually watch or even like rewatch, but I was happy for the experience because it was a sign that like, you know, superhero fiction is kind of, you know, well, I already was taking it seriously with stuff like, you know, Civil War, Winter Soldier. But this was an example of a film that I think was really taking itself seriously. And, you know, it was cinema. I don't know, people throw around like a buzzword ever since the whole Martin Scorsese thing. But like, I just think that this was...
Yeah, what would you say about Joker?
I don't know. I don't give a shit. So I'm so tired of that whole thing. But yeah, I thought the Joker was like... It's a pretty major thing for that. The fact that Joker exists itself, like High Top Films on YouTube put it best when he said the Joker is a miracle. Like it's a miracle that a film like that exists.
Yeah, that is very true.
It's a miracle we got a Joker solo movie to begin with.
Yeah, I was not even expecting that.
I loved it. You loved it?
I absolutely loved it. We already talked about this, Frank. I mean, you loved it.
Loved it.
Did we even say that? Maybe we did.
I'd give it an A. So
yeah, I'd give it. If we're going letter grade, I'd give it an A. Yeah, I'd give it an A.
Upon rewatch, I might boost up to an A-.
I watched it twice. I went from a C to an A.
Yeah, he really did not like it in the beginning.
Yeah.
Really
I will say though,
so different. I'm a huge Joker fan, so used to like
Joker.
like not like Heath Ledger Joker, but like that villain.
I will say though, something that me and Chris Duffy had a big problem with was that like the way they implemented like licensed music in the film kind of was like lazily done. So like you did see part where he was like dancing on the stairs and it was like the Haze song, but then it just like lazily transitions to like some like just orchestral thing, so it's just like da, 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 hey da, 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 da. And I was just like, what the fuck? Why didn't they just keep playing it? So after Joker, another film got announced. It was
Suicide Squad reboot.
Suicide Squad 2, Suicide Squawk, as I call it. Birds of Prey. And the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn.
If we're going back to the timeline, how fucked is this timeline for DC movies?
Fucked. But so here's the thing:
Birds of fucking Prey. Who wants that movie? Which I'm not gonna shit on. I haven't seen it, but why the fuck would we want that movie? I'm just saying.
I mean, it is surprising. It's very surprising. Michael had a very good point. You know, when I talked to him about it initially, it was basically that like, you know, it's like, oh, I mean, their solo films are usually pretty good. Their team films usually aren't that great.
Yeah.
And it's like, I remember when I actually reviewed Birds of Prey on Duff Stuff, I remember I started a sentence being like, okay, so like Justice League sucked, right? And that was like how I started. Because Justice League, you know, they have all these characters, but we don't really get to learn that much about them. Save for like Wonder Woman, who we've already learned about, or save for Superman, who we already learned about, but we get introduced late in the film. But like for me, and since I'm the only person who has seen Birds of Prey, I will say that I thought that the film did such a great job of introducing each of these characters, making me give a shit about them, and actually like creating a like tangible chemistry between them, even for characters who didn't have as much interaction with the rest of them.
I just want to know, was Obi-Wan, did he ever say hello there?
I should think back. There may have been one time where he said hello. Ewan McGregor plays Roman Sionis, Roman Sionis, or Black Mask, as he's also known in the comics.
What?
Yeah. Did you not know that? I think we talked about this the last time that we talked about. Yeah, he's in it. He's Black Mask.
I love Black Mask. I love Black Mask and Batman.
In the trailer, he puts on the Black Mask. I was like,
I haven't watched it.
Yeah, it was in the second trailer. We watched it over at Alex's place.
Did we?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Have you ever seen Batman Under the Red Hood, the animated thing? Black Mask in that.
Mm-hmm. It's great.
Okay, one of these episodes, I'll tell you, I have a trilogy of Batman movies. That'd be the perfect trilogy.
Nice.
I'll bring it up one day. And Batman the Red Hood is one of them.
Cool.
That would be a perfect movie, dude.
So, overall, as somebody, since we haven't really seen, I mean, I've seen the trailer. Have you seen any of the trailers?
Mm-mm.
So, at least for me, as somebody who's seen the trailers, do you think that the trailers kind of showed a decent amount of what people would kind of like, so to speak? Like did it show enough to where, like, do you think the movie surpassed the trailers, or did you not think it surpassed the trailers?
I mean, I don't think it. That's a difficult question because surpassing the trailers. Like, I thought the trailers were good. If you didn't think the trailers were great,
that's the thing. For me, I didn't really think they were that great. At least, I guess for me, it didn't grab my attention, but that's also because I'm not too big of like a fan. Like, I don't really know Birds of Prey. Like, like Guardians of the Galaxy, to me, the trailers grabbed me enough to be like, yeah, I kind of want to see that.
Well, for me, I don't think that, because I don't know much about the Birds of Prey either. I mean, what I do know is like the old canceled CW show from like the early 2000s.
Yep.
And then like
I remember that.
Yeah. And then like
talking about shit shows.
But like, I don't know, man. I really liked the film, and that being said, I was excited for it going in, but
it takes the best part of Suicide Squad, which is Harley Quinn, and the same actress, and puts it in the movie.
Well, that's the thing.
It has the potential.
That's part of the reason why I was scared, because I thought, like, this trailer reminds me about too much of Suicide Squad, and I'm like, I don't know if I want.
I also didn't like the whole thing, which either it's like it's going to be good or it's going to be complete shit. With the thing where she's like, me and the Joker broke up. So they've done that in the animated series where they had an episode where Harley Quinn went off on her own thing without the Joker. I don't know if you remember that in the animated series.
Yeah, I remember that.
And she like saw Bruce Wayne at a store or something.
Yeah, it was an interesting episode.
I thought it was a good episode. I'm like, if they could kind of do something like that, it would be good.
The thing with her in this one, and I think there's some great character moments with this. Margot Robbie did a great job as Harley Quinn, but I feel like this film really solidified her. Like, in the same way that Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool, Margot Robbie is Harley Quinn. She is the definitive Harley Quinn. And it's gratifying for me because I grew up watching her in the animated series where she was still kind of wrapped around the Joker's like finger. I never really got to see her like redemption and her like coming into her own, like, because I never really read the comics and I didn't really see that portrayed in any of the stuff that I was watching growing up. So for me, this was my first like real time witnessing that type of, self-actualization on the big screen. And for me, it was really important because like, I think that she acted the experience of getting out of an abusive relationship super well, and because at the beginning of the film, it's basically like she's broken up with the Joker.
Right.
But she hasn't really told anybody. She hasn't told you. So she's like going to like Roman Sionis's club and she's like fucking shit up. And he's like he's kind of tolerating it because he thinks she's still with the Joker. Mm. And so long as people think that she's with the Joker, she's like untouchable.
That's kind of badass. But in this movie, is Jared Leto still the Joker?
No. They don't show him ever.
And that's the issue too, because in Suicide Squad, they never show the abusive relationship, so to speak. I feel like.
Yeah, they kind of did. They kind of showed like a fucked up.
Here's the thing. There was a deleted scene that showed it, but they never really got to really explore it that much.
I guess there was like a few scenes that kind of alluded to it, like how he leaves her in the car.
I will say this: like the intro of the film, even if everything else didn't really, even if the previous films or her one previous time as Harley Quinn didn't convey that, the intro of the film itself does a good job of kind of, as a cold open, expressing, her train of thought and how she got to that point.
Right.
And so the film opens with that, and then she basically kind of makes it known to the world that she broke up with Joker in a pretty bombastic way. And
spoilers.
What the fuck?
What the fuck, man?
I didn't say how, but
still,
I thought they were still together.
Yeah, what the hell? I'm sorry.
Yeah, we're fucking with you.
He looked for a second. He's like, wait, are you guys fucking serious?
Throwing off his game.
I was throwing my game. I'm in the mood. I love this movie. So, so then from that point on, like Roman Sionis is like, well, hold on. Like, if she's not with the Joker anymore, like, I want her. Like, she's because he's a control freak. The way they establish like Black Mask's character, like he is this insane, like, unstable, like, control freak who's like, he's a misogynist. He's got there's actually like Victor Zsasz is also in this film.
Oh shit.
He's like
he was in Gotham.
Yeah, well, so Victor Zsasz is actually like, he like works with Black Mask, and they're kind of, there's actually kind of this implied like Ewan McGregor has gone on record in interviews saying like, yeah, they might actually be fucking.
Oh shit.
And so there's kind of like this tension between them, and so like he essentially is like, I want Harley Quinn, like, I get her. And
Just
but it's not just about Harley Quinn. It's basically all of these different characters, like kind of stories converging. So you have Renee Montoya, who's a police officer who like is trying to build a case against Black Mask, but like she's just kind of being gaslighted by her whole department and like who just like aren't taking her seriously at all.
right.
She's been working there for years. She's a better detective than like half of them, but like none of them act. No, they don't treat her with the respect that she deserves as a superior officer.
Right.
We have Huntress, who kind of shows up like throughout the whole film, but it's not until like towards the third act that she really interacts with the Birds of Prey. She converges in some interesting ways. She's basically like the badass killer, but the more you learn about her, the more like her whole characterization is so perfect, because even with the seemingly limited amount of time that she has in the film, Mary Elizabeth Winstead's performance was awesome in portraying this character who like has spent so long on this quest for revenge that she's kind of like antisocial to the point where she expresses it by being kind of awkward in a really adorable way that makes her so much more likable as a character.
Right.
Then we also have Black Canary, who
Screams.
Dinah Lance. Dinah Lance, who is actually kind of who's also working. She's like a singer at Roman Sionis' club.
The first time I even knew what Black Canary was from Smallville.
Oh, wow.
She was on Smallville. She was just like a hero that was under the radar for me, and I just saw her. I was like, whoa.
Injustice is where I first found out.
You watched Injustice? Really?
Wait, is that a show?
He played Injustice.
Oh, I'm thinking of Young Justice.
Oh, yeah.
Brain is scrambled.
I watched Young Justice.
She was badass in Young Justice.
Young Justice is a fucking good show.
I only played Injustice.
Yeah, Injustice, excuse me.
Yeah, but
Injustice 2 you only played.
I played the first one a little bit.
Did you?
Yeah, a little bit. Not too much, but
I said corrected.
So she's like she's working as a singer in his club, but then she kind of helps out Harley, reveals that she's actually, she's gonna kick ass.
Right.
And then Roman Sionis kind of makes her his new personal driver, because his previous driver kind of got
murdered,
fucked up.
Spoilers.
What if I like his previous driver?
I don't want to say too much more, but like then the last one in this whole group is Cassandra Cain, who is who in the comics was actually like a way different character. So if there's anything like very seriously diverging from comic book canon, it's Cassandra Cain, because she's basically like this orphan girl who's kind of like.
Who is Cassandra Cain?
In the comics, she was like supposed to be. She's one of like the Batgirls. But
oh my god, is she the Batgirl in this?
In this film,
yeah. Hold on, go ahead.
In this film, she is like this she's this girl who's kind of like in foster homes, and she's a kleptomaniac, a pickpocket, and she ends up picking the wrong pocket, and so now like everybody in the city is kind of like after her. And a lot of the plot, essentially, if I was to summarize the plot concisely and like give a good synopsis, it would be that Harley Quinn and the eventual Birds of Prey all converge, their paths cross as all of Gotham is searching for this girl who basically has stolen something incredibly important. And so the pacing, the way it switches back, like Harley narrates the whole thing.
Yeah.
And the way that
she's a...
yeah. And so like the way that she narrates the whole thing, and it jumps back and forth in a way that it paces out the action scenes really appropriately, which by the way, Chad Stahelski, the director of John Wick, Kathy Yan, the director of Birds of Prey, I love her. Follow her on Twitter. She's awesome. She contacted Chad Stahelski and was like, hey, would you like to help direct the action scenes?
Oh.
The action scenes in this film are better than any action scene in any other DC film.
Oh shit!
They are fucking incredible.
Well, if it's the guy from John Wick, then it's
as colorful as like the John Wick Chapter 2 fights in terms of setting. There's a scene
where seen John Wick, have you? How dare you?
It's beautiful. Like there isn't like an abundance of like slow motion or anything like that. It's just like it's all just really. You really get to see how good at fighting Harley is.
Right.
Like you look at this film and then you go back and watch Suicide Squad. I was like, well, watching Birds of Prey, now I can kind of see a bit more why Amanda Waller would have wanted her on a team. Because in that, like, it was like, well, she's just swinging a baseball bat.
Dancing on a rope and the whole thing.
Yeah, but like here, she's actually like really like kick ass and like the fight scenes. Awesome. Every actress really commits to those fight scenes. Like even like, especially like Mary Elizabeth Winstead as well, like as Huntress, she does a really great job. Black Canary is so fucking cool. So the fight scenes are really great. The character interactions, they have great chemistry. I'd say that the pacing, like the drama of it all, kind of reminded me of like Tarantino films in the way that it was like created, like mixing all of these different character arcs and combining them, and like it's just a really tightly knit drama, and that also just happens to be like. It's almost the joke of the film is that it's not really. It's more of Harley Quinn's film than anything else. But
probably why it's called Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of Harley Quinn.
And even
until they changed it.
And the way that they
what's the new name now?
Well, just like Birds of Prey.
That's only on like theater websites, so they can condense it. But the thing is, I love that original title because it's almost a joke in and of itself. It's that it's the story of the Birds of Prey. Like that's the important part of the story. That it's the story of the Birds of Prey, but. Because Harley Quinn plays such an important role in, she kind of like weasels her way even into the title, and that's like the joke of it, and that's why I kind of really appreciate it. So
I have to go see it.
Watching this,
I feel like you sold it on me.
Yeah, I'm so glad about that because when I watched it, I walked out of the theater and I was like, I was so happy, and I tried to temper my emotions, my expectations, and stuff because I didn't want another Suicide Squad thing happening.
Yeah, because then you're gonna see it again, and you're like, fuck,
because I'm gonna be like, oh fuck.
What's your rating?
What I can tell you is that Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn got the very first A+ of 2020.
Holy shit!
Wow,
which is higher. And this is the part that's like,
what else did you give a B+ that we were just talking about?
Joker.
How dare you?
So I love the fact that he has a notebook.
So the
not
thing
just
is,
any notebook; it's like a leather-bound, fucking beautiful notebook.
I know.
So the thing is, and this is what I never expect. If you told me that I'd say this back when like Man of Steel came out. I would like. I don't even I'd respond to you, but I think that Birds of Prey.
Just be like,
I'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about? No, it's obviously going to be a Batman movie, right? But I think Birds of Prey is my favorite DC film of all of them.
Of all time.
Of all of them,
of
yeah.
All time.
Of all time.
Okay, if we're considering just the DCEU.
Okay.
I'd say probably.
I was like, over Dark Knight.
I was about to be like, all right, this is for real. His last episode.
But like, I don't know. Like, I do want to like rewatch like all of like the DC greats. But like for me, it's just that Cathy Yan as a director, like I don't really know some of the other stuff I've done. But like this is why I love what DC is doing right now. Because like with Marvel,
it's the first time I've ever heard anyone say that.
I know, seriously.
Because like when I look at Marvel. It's very rare that I can point at a Marvel movie like, oh yeah, a movie by that director. Like I can do it with the Russo brothers or with Joss Whedon.
Well, right, yeah.
But how many times are we?
How about Taika Waititi?
Taika Waititi, yeah, exactly. Again, directors who have like a presence and have like a big impact on the works that they work on. But how many times are we going to read articles that are like, oh well, another director left Doctor Strange 2. Yeah, another director left this new sequel to Ant-Man. It's like I want to watch movies that are the products of passionate people making movies that they want to make. And for me, like James Wan is going to do that with Aquaman movies.
Sure.
Patty Jenkins is going to do that with the Wonder Woman movies. That new Wonder Woman movie looks fucking sick.
Mm-hmm.
And then
I actually haven't seen the trailer for. Didn't a trailer come out?
There is a trailer for it.
I don't think I've seen it.
It's pretty cool.
All I know is a new Wonder Woman movie. I'm fucking in. You son of a bitch.
And Cathy Yan, whatever she does now, I wish her all the best because I think this was a really cool film that some people get angry up in arms because women. But it's like I'd say your reasons for being concerned about the quality are justified. Like they don't usually do team up films that great. It's kind of like weird. Like, why are we getting a Birds of Prey film?
I mean, I was also upset because women. No, I'm just kidding.
The first two things you said were probably what I was saying.
Yeah, that's my biggest issue.
But then there's other people like people are like, oh, it's going to have a political agenda. It really doesn't have a political agenda. If anything, it
needs more political agenda.
I felt like if they were going to make this movie, they have to do it after they've like established a good like
A team movie.
Like
legit. Oh, sorry.
no, like where we actually have a Batman movie in this universe, and we actually know who the Joker.
Well,
is.
Because they're no longer doing a universe. That's kind of why.
Yeah, so which is cool. Like that's just do that then.
Yeah. For me, I'd say that like
solo movies all day.
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
Besides Shazam, please don't.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. It's not bad, but still.
I forgot what I was gonna say.
I'm surprised
Harley
you give it
Quinn.
A+.
I'm actually very.
I'm gonna go
That's-
see it now.
That's the thing. Like, I was really surprised. Like, because I thought about that, and I was like,
We're gonna come back and be like, "Wow, that was an F." No, I'm just kidding.
but like it is.
Fuck. We're
but-
gonna talk all about it now, and then we're gonna go see it, and then talk about it even more.
Oh yeah.
I see.
Birds of Prey podcast.
Oh,
when I watched it,
Half Past Birds of Prey.
I think that Half Past Prey.
Oh,
How do you know that name?
Birds of Past Prey.
I want to know what Bella thinks about it, because for
She's
some
probably never gonna see it.
'cause-
Why? Because she's a woman.
no, but
Yeah, what did you
Yeah,
say?
you sexist fuck.
Actually, it's because Mary Elizabeth Winstead kind of reminds me of Bella
Oh, okay.
a little bit, and I kind of want to see what she thinks of like Huntress as a character, because I was kind of getting some Bella vibes from her.
Oh my god.
So I don't know. I just thought that was funny, but I do think this is.
You want to know
yeah.
how low my? Okay, it's not really low expectation, but my expectation for Birds of Prey is that I'm gonna
Are
like
really
Sonic.
high now. You just fucking hyped the shit
I
out of it.
initially thought I was
My-
gonna like Sonic more than Birds of Prey,
Ooh.
and now I have a feeling I'm probably gonna like. Birds
Don't
of
get me
Prey more
started
than
on
Sonic.
Sonic because I will go down a rabbit hole.
Sonic was pretty decent.
You saw it?
I saw it for a
Fuck.
review. We were actually going to do a review this week, but unfortunately Chris Duffy was out this week, so we had to postpone.
Oof.
But next week on the 27th, same day as my Yoko Kanno
Shebang.
showcase, I'm going to be doing
Listen.
the review of Sonic
Make
the
sure you
Hedgehog.
listen.
Yeah.
But
Please don't talk about it right now. I don't want anything spoiled for
Yeah.
Sonic.
yeah, well, I'll watch it too, and then
I want to watch it and be like, I feel like
Okay.
it's like a weird movie.
But
that
I do
people,
want
like,
to say
really
final thing.
fuck
I
with.
do think that Birds of Prey, is it's a pretty empowering film. You have the stuff with Harley and getting out of that abusive relationship. I'd say every character, or at least most of the character arcs, are about kind of escaping some form of toxicity, and so there's this empowering thing, and the chemistry and the fact that the chemistry between the characters works is just a testament to why I really enjoyed the ending, because it's like just these characters who are just like badass and like they have their own like agency, they've taken back power, and it's like it's everything you want from the end of like a character driven like action drama. And it just so happens that like if you can empathize or sympathize with the plight of these characters, you're gonna have a great time. If you can't, if you really just for some reason can't get behind like this movie trying to convince me that this woman getting gaslighted in her police station is like bad.
spoilers.
You
You already said that before. You didn't
Yeah.
say spoiler before.
You didn't say spoilers then. So anyway, I think it's a really great film, but yeah, I'm
see it.
I'm just your neighborhood gay feminist. So whatever. What do I know?
True, yeah. We just
right.
have them on here for the looks.
I want to
So what I suppose that means I'm attractive. So all
Yes,
right.
yes.
Mm.
Is a wink very hard.
I want to. We'll briefly talk about this, and then we'll wrap it up. Robert Pattinson Batman. Here, I don't know if you guys seen these images, but these are some concepts of
Some
what he would look
concepts
like.
based on the little
based
screen
on
test we
everything.
got.
I'll post this on the Instagram at Half Past Sheev podcast. On
Hashtag
Instagram.
Insta.
It does look pretty cool.
Yeah, we just.
That screen test was really cool.
See, like now, this is what I'm looking for.
He's got a fucking cape on too, though. And he also doesn't have goggles on.
And he also doesn't look like he's wearing fucking hockey pads.
Okay, so what I think might happen is they might do some CGI work on the eyes.
I think so too. Like I know, I
It looks
pointed
white.
out.
It's white here. I wonder if they're going to see.
Yeah, they're gonna make him like glowy.
So what
white
I
or
pointed
something.
out was I don't think he's gonna have the white eyes.
We're talking about the new Batman. If you
So
don't
the new
know.
Batman, there's been set photos like up the wazoo. There's so much new stuff coming out like every day from like the shooting. There was a thing that was like Batman on a motorcycle, presumably with the characters probably going to be Catwoman.
And the motorcycle looks really like old school.
It's old
like,
school.
If
It's
you
got like
go
the
from
bat
the
ear
Bat
kind of.
pod
Yeah.
to this, you're like, whoa.
It's a very like traditional
I like
design.
it. I like
and
the
I like the
cycle. It
design of
looks
the bike.
cool.
So the suit is where some people are a bit more like iffy on it.
Well, for this, I'm kind of thinking this might just be his like bike.
It's his bike
riding
suit.
gear.
That's what I
this is
think,
definitely his
Yeah.
bike suit because
Mhm.
I'm looking
It,
at this.
it looks kind of
and
ninja-y mixed with a hockey
Yeah.
band.
It looks a lot more practical and less like ninja stylish.
I don't know because in this photo, the original red photos that they showed,
Mhm.
you can see the biker like shoulder pad in this.
I mean, that could be him
And
like suiting up
then-
for the bike. Maybe he's
Let me
in
go
some like
here,
dark
but he's
red
got
place.
a cape on in that, so he might have those shoulder
Yeah,
pads.
but I feel like
I really don't like those shoulder
I
pads.
really do
His helmet
think
looks kind of whack too, but
I
mean,
really
I'm
do
open.
think,
I'm open to the.
you have to remember a couple things. One, stunt. These on-set photos never look as good as the final product.
Yeah,
Oh,
you're
yeah,
right.
for sure.
Never. You remember those set photos of Doctor Strange running around New York doing the circles
Hey,
with his hands?
That made me super excited for that movie. Okay.
And
Oh,
listen,
that's cool.
I always temper my expectations in regards to that. Also, they've got a stunt guy who looks like he's way bulkier than the Robert Pattinson.
Also older, like
Also
pretty
older.
older.
And also he's
He's not older.
but I pointed out to Frank when we were getting dinner, like he's got these like dots
those
on his
dots,
face.
Yeah.
So I think they're gonna CGI,
CGI,
and
yeah.
stuff like that.
Like
I think there's
okay,
gonna be some
this one he looks
interesting
pretty
CGI.
badass. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah,
Like,
like,
look
that's
at
pretty
that.
cool.
That looks pretty badass.
That bike looks pretty cool. I'm super excited. Like
The bike pictures are on the Insta already. Half Past Sheev
Yeah.
podcast Instagram.
so I'm super pumped for this new Batman.
I'm just interested to see it, like how it does.
I just want a trailer. I want a full trailer. I feel like we're gonna
Yes.
get one this summer.
Hopefully,
San Diego Comic-Con, I feel like we're gonna get our first trailer.
San Diego Comic-Con has been my dream to go to. I've wanted to go there for so long.
E3 has been my dream to go.
We better get a
Oh,
new
you better
fucking Elder
change those
Scrolls.
dreams real quick. E3's dying.
I know it is dying.
We need to go to
really dying.
Gamescom.
Only
We need
one
to-
person's not going.
We
Only one
need to go to
company is
Germany.
going.
We need to go to
PlayStation.
Gamescom.
True. Germany after Japan.
But I mean, I'm sure there'll be a bunch of stuff coming out.
Oh, for sure.
in the
They have
next
to, 'cause
few
when is the
months
movie coming
about
out?
the Batman movie. Oh, what,
In 2021, probably like
Ooh.
April 2021 or
Jinx, you'll be
something
a
like
high
that.
Nice.
Cool.
Okay, so it's not. It's still had a little bit of time. Usually they have a trailer like at least a year before, though. At least
Yeah.
something like a teaser or something. They need to show us something before
So
I can really
who's the main villain? Penguin.
So I'm betting Penguin's gonna be the main villain.
Okay.
Though they have confirmed I forget the actor's
Isn't
name.
there a Riddler going
There is a
on in it?
Riddler.
Which
And
would be so cool.
and
We
the
have
guy
not
they-
had a Riddler since Jim Carrey, and Jim Carrey was good, but didn't
Yeah.
do him like justice
Right.
to like who the Riddler really
the
is.
guy
right.
who they got to play the Riddler, if you could look it up, that guy was really cool. Did any of you ever see Prisoners with Hugh Jackman?
No.
No, fuck, but I've seen all over Netflix.
Okay. Well, so the guy who Hugh
Ew,
Jackman
Riddler.
suspects that he like may have taken his daughter, that's the guy who's
So
playing
is
the
it this
Riddler.
guy?
Yeah, that's the guy who's playing the Riddler.
He looks perfect.
Yeah, he's just got the right look
let me
for
see him.
it.
Dude, Batman
Let me see
has
this guy.
Batman has such a great rogues gallery. You
Yeah.
just cannot go
Oh,
wrong.
He's from I can't think. He's from something.
Night
that's
and
not what
Day,
you said.
starring Cameron Diaz and
Nope,
Tom Cruise.
not that either.
Dude,
well,
if
he
you
is
make a
in that.
Batman movie and pick a bad villain, you are like mentally retarded
Mm-hmm.
because he has so many
Wow.
good, and that's just how strong it is. He has so many good villains.
Yeah.
Dude, from like Bane, Scarecrow.
I'm also excited for
Joker.
Catwoman, but to have her back on the
Is
screen
she gonna
again.
be in it?
Yeah, she's gonna be in it. They announced who she's.
Fuck, I'm
who's
excited.
playing her.
They're gonna have some
Yeah.
heavy scenes with them. You know, in the comics, they're gonna have like a kid or something.
Yeah, I heard about that recently.
Yeah, I heard about that too. I was gonna text you about it and be like, "What the fuck's going on here?"
Nothing's worse than them showing Batman's schlong.
Yeah.
Well, that's why they had to show it first to make sure that they know how much Catwoman's getting.
Yeah, I recently watched
Jesus.
I recently watched The Gentleman, directed by Guy Ritchie,
Okay, yeah,
and Colin Farrell was in that, and so that's only gotten me more excited for how he's gonna
The Penguin.
play Penguin. So, yeah,
Do you think he's gonna pass Danny DeVito?
Who knows? I mean, that's a
High bar.
high bar.
Yeah.
But he
But
dies and get carried away by Emperor Penguins back into like the sewer or some shit.
Oh my god, those movies are so good, but that is a tale for another day.
yeah.
What do you guys think? Good
I think that was a
podcast.
fucking long ass.
That was a
Yeah.
long ass podcast. We got a lot. We had.
Do you
a
mind
lot
if
of
I
thoughts.
plug some of the stuff I'm doing?
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely
I'm
not.
about to plug our shit.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead.
All right. So
Go.
every
Plug away.
So yeah, and I might send you
Like
guys.
Oasis.
I might send you guys
Oh.
links to like the iHeartRadio stuff because I know that some people might not be in the
You gonna plug
broadcast
us?
range. But I do 2 shows every week on Thursday nights. The first is Sakura Sunset, the Japanese rock show. That's every Thursday night from 6 to 8 p.m. Central Time. Here on, well, not here. I'm so
Right here, literally
right here in this basement.
we have fucking legendary recording stuff for radio stations.
on
Let the man talk.
on
I'm
FM
sorry.
89.1 WONC Naperville, Chicago. You can find us on iHeartRadio. Just search FM 89 WONC, and you'll find us. No problem.
Oh, you'll find them. Oh yeah.
And then right after that show, from 8 to 10 p.m. Central Time on Thursdays, is Duff Stuff, hosted by Chris Duffy and co-hosted.
No relation to The Simpsons.
Co-hosted by me, and we review movies and stuff like that.
Better watch out. Disney likes to sue people over that stuff.
But it's his name.
I know. I'm totally joking. Continue.
Yeah, like, and also like we were going to go with like a red and black color scheme for the logos, but then we
That would've
changed.
been- yeah.
That would have been real bad.
Yeah.
But we changed it to like it's like blue and purple, so it's like fine.
Close enough.
Close enough. They'll be like, oh, yeah, it's like the reverse.
Yeah,
Sue 'em. And then what else am I doing? Oh, I have a blog where I review anime. I've been doing that for a couple of years now. It's called sakurasunrise.blog. That's the URL I got when I switched to WordPress Premium. I am no longer part of WordPress Premium, and they haven't changed my URL yet. So for the time being, that is the URL that you
Nice.
should look up to, and I'll send like links to these guys.
Well, do you know you just
put
had to
on-
pay them one time and you're
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, apparently. So for the time being, sakurasunrise.blog. Otherwise, just look up Sakura Sunrise WordPress and you should be able to find it. It's just, me, Matthew Lundeen, reviewing anime and talking about stuff. I try to post
Yeah,
weekly, but at most I post like bi-weekly.
Nice. We
Perfect.
should make an anime block on here. No, I'm just kidding.
This fucking guy.
I'll just
Talk about
record
that.
it on my phone and then send it to you.
Perfect.
There's actually a cool feature in Anchor where you can record, like if you're at your house, you can record. We can record together.
Yeah, we can send you a
Oh.
recording.
Yeah,
I don't know
It's
how the
actually
fuck
pretty
that
cool.
works
Yeah,
with
we'd
the
have to figure
computer.
out how it works, but I
But-
mean,
Colin actually wants to be on. We have a buddy Colin who lives in Arizona who would like to be on.
I have a few
God.
friends I want to have on too, so we're gonna be getting this
We
going.
can
We got to
need-
get 3 mics, get a bunch of people.
We need to
going.
do like some
Oh, yeah.
complicated Skype setup, and then we can do a weeknight bite reunion. Another one.
I love it. And then we have to just
And this one might actually get more views.
Oh God. But Frank,
Uh,
Insta plug. Go ahead.
Follow us on Insta at Half Past Sheev Podcast on Instagram. We got 500 followers. I do all the updates. I post memes.
The men's.
Check your boys out. And any last words?
Please subscribe to the YouTube.
Yes. Okay.
Dear God, please.
The YouTube, we got 11 subscribers. We need to get that shit bumping. Check it out. We post the podcast. No videos, not yet, but we have the podcast up on
Right.
YouTube. Check it out.
Obviously, we have it everywhere else
We're
too.
on all
So
platforms.
if you guys view it anywhere else, we're completely fine with that.
Good.
I was just gonna say, go support Birds of Prey. Also, the new My Hero Academia movie is coming out next week.
Oh, I'm gonna watch that with. Maybe I don't know.
Maybe,
haven't
'cause
seen it.
I have
The
to look-
shirt you're wearing.
See, I have to look up to
That's
see
why I
if
said
there's-
only superhero shirt.
I have to look up to see if there's any season 3 spoilers because I don't want you to watch it and be like, "What? He did what?"
Yeah, no, that would be bad. Yeah,
Unless you want to binge all of season 3 before we see it together.
yeah, I don't have time.
Well, in the wise words of Emperor Sheev Palpatine,
Rest his soul.
do it.
Do it.
Thank you. Gee, I was gonna say, what the fuck is going on?